I told you that in confidence.
Hand!
All right.
Oh, come on. You
Hello,
had to go
everyone.
with the worst one?
Shit!
Candy corn? Really?
I need to
What's the
make
shit?
stream link. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Y'all vamp while I do this.
Vamping. It's
I think
like
it might be
camping in
storming
a
outside.
van. What?
I think it might be storming outside, or I am.
That's probably not
I
that
just
surprising.
heard. I just heard thunder.
Did you
That's
see
fine.
Lovely.
lightning?
I'm inside, and I really don't want to look outside.
Lightning and the thunder. Thunder.
At least
I've
you
I've just been
at least
watching.
you have water. We are getting ice.
I've just been watching so many Rachel and June videos. You mentioned thunder. I just think of their little beta fish.
Whoop. Nice.
So I,
Armor, can I have the ice? I'd like the ice.
Unfortunately, I can't send it down to you.
You can have all mine. We don't have it
Okay.
yet, but I don't want it.
Deliver it to me, please.
so I had to
We
scroll
all
through
know that
500
weather is a
above everything.
We all know that weather is manufactured by the government to control us. It's fine.
If only it was that easy. A certain streamer that I'm sure we all aware of would be getting all the snow he wishes to have.
I'm sure California would be less on fire. If that were the truth.
This particular person, to my knowledge, is not located in California.
Oh, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm just speaking realistically.
I'm talking about Arkoff.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't watch his streams, but he is a cool boy.
He really loves.
He-
He
him
really loves snow.
him do like his snow and ice.
Snow and Ice is good. I mean, he plays a dragon capable of making ice cream with his face. I'm pretty sure if Kel gurgled heavy cream, he'd spit out ice cream.
Probably.
Are we completely unsure that's not how he?
For health and safety reasons, probably not.
I don't know what's going on.
Excuse me?
My favorite part about him is the fact that he was a trained EMT too.
Listen, Kel's just been driving vans all of his career.
Yeah.
And worshipping ice cream.
I don't think he worships ice cream. I think he's just a fan of ice cream, and ice cream is a fan of him.
I mean, it's to the point he's got clerical powers from ice cream.
Listen, sometimes you're good enough at making ice cream be like, I'm into it.
Makes me think if gods these characters function that way, what kind of god would take interest in our characters? And I just realized poor Ketta.
What?
So in the prince. Sorry.
Sorry.
There you go.
I
Oh, we
was-
should introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Andy.
Yes. Yes, we should. Hi, I'm Armored Hunter.
Hi,
That is my introduction.
I'm Danny Boop. I've been stressing for the last half hour just trying to make sure that stream can be up and running, but we're up and running, so it's all good.
I am Feltros, and I am the Felzy.
Here you are. I am Mythosia.
Yes, the actor previously known as Mythosia.
Ah.
Also, hello everyone, I'm Ash, the DM. We have an interesting session ahead of us, folks, so let's get right into it. So, for the sake of a little bit of housekeeping, as was stated at the end of the previous session before we had a bit of a break here, some of the party members had gone off to do a bit of investigation over in the Bastion. Which, by the way, hello everyone! Do you like our new fancy map designed and edited by one here, Fail Trolls?
Yee.
I have
looks
much
good.
more control over how it looks now. Because I control him. Isn't that right, Failsy?
Kinky.
As long as you feed him.
Wait,
His silence tells all. What?
Wait, I'm meant to get food?
Oh, I feed
No.
you, but we don't talk about that. We all know that you're an incubus. Anyways,
Neat.
but yes, several of the party members, including one Dravince, one Keta, and one Brimstone, made their way over to the Bastion using Dravince's teleportation device in the timepiece of travel. There, they had some discussions with figures of power, and since you three were the ones that had them, would you all want to say just like a brief overview of some of the things you found out, or would you prefer if I said some of the stuff?
Should we just kind of read off the notes?
Ash, you're gonna be able to put Etas into better conciseness than I could.
Yeah, let's just let's just use the Cliff Notes version that we made for it.
Yeah.
I say as I scroll up trying to find the Cliff Notes version because I didn't put that anywhere else other than just in the game chat.
posting.
There it is.
Reposting it.
Right as I got to it too. Wonderful. Alrighty then. So, just a bit of some cliff notes, because I'm not going to read out this whole thing verbatim, because some of this information is going to end up coming up in-game as you all continue on the story, but Keta, in her discussions, ended up actually, like the rest of the party has previously, ended up meeting with King Valorwind. Had some interesting discussions with him about the positions of her family and her actual reward, which has been spoken of many times for her returning of the Font of Grainham to the Bastion itself. She also finally received her gift from her father that she has just been waiting for a long time, after asking for quite a while ago. A new set of armor. Some old, stinky feather and leather. Some of that other stuff doesn't necessarily need to be brought up yet, because it'll come up later. I think that's the plot-relevant information that Keta got that won't come up just later already. Brimstone ended up speaking with Vivian, the Azamar of emotional stability or emotional healing, spiritual healing, things of those natures, and had a bit of a intense discussion in relation to Bliss. Brimstone's seemingly reincarnated in some fashion fiancé from a previous life, as it were, and her potential connections to the being that is now known as, and I always pronounce this wrong, but I think it is pronounced Ataraxes.
Yeah.
I said it right for a change. But her potential connections to Ataraxes and the relation to the fact that somehow demons managed to find their way through the protections of the Bastion. Luckily, that discussion did end up going well, and they discovered that Bliss is a entire defector from Ataraxes' essential imprisonment of her. So, no unfortunate things to occur there. But he did also learn a very interesting tidbit about the Asmar of Knowledge, who is believed to be who the demons were searching for within the Bastion. Vivian has apparently been able to, in some way, commune with the spirit of that Asmar, and found out that the seemingly last place that she was known to appear was the Corial Isles, a location that Brimstone has already, for a while, had his sights set on. Jervinche's time in the Bastion was a little bit more information heavy, given that he ended up speaking to Tim, who was an entirely over-chattery chatterbox. I mean, after all, he's a skeleton, right? Maybe. But not so much, maybe. You unmuted yourself, so I'm waiting to see if you say something.
Was just going to comment. Yes, lots and lots and lots and lots of talking, as is normal for me.
Yes. Though, to be frank, I definitely think Tim was the one more doing the talking there. But he essentially found out some information about some figures you all potentially finding your way to later on. Learning that the painter, the figure you have heard about in passing a few times now, apparently frequents often the Gladius Towers and has a... He didn't say what type of hold it was, but some place of living just north of the proper Blossom Kingdom. He also gives some advice for how Javinche might avoid becoming a fleshy skin puppet at the hands of the painter, given his particular attachments to other figures of power. Via the advice of seeking out a wisteria tree. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me.
Unleash the demons.
I felt that one coming and still couldn't stop it. He also found out some other interesting information about a particular figure who has just recently decided to show their hand a bit to him. Learning the previous identity of the entity known as Desus, who you spelled the name wrong again. I just noticed that in the notes.
I don't think
There's
you
a
changed it.
Oh, fair enough. There's a C in there. But he learned about the fact that Desus, at least according to what Tim knew, and even then his knowledge was a bit scattered on the topic, was an entity referred to as the Angel Born of Mortal Hands. A warforged, apparently, given godlike power, seemingly from the god Ignesia, but he believes otherwise. There's a whole play about it called The Clockwork Wings of Gold, and you all might have to check that out sometime. But that's all the plot-relevant stuff that I feel like mentioning right at this moment. Anything else, you'll have to come up a bit more naturally in-game, because I want to get into things. So, with those bits of information disseminated amongst the group, as well as a few other notes, which, again, as they come up more naturally in-game, we'll discuss further. Not to say that they'll come up in this game, but just in future. We find the party as they have reconciled all of this information and are now back in the cart. The time is probably just past 2, 3 in the afternoon, and you all have regathered yourself after having a bit of a meal over this discussion from all this information you've gathered.
Cake was made.
Yes, cake was made.
An important thing that was brought up during the conversation was that we should probably find some protection against Game Master soon, given it's that time of year. Though I don't know exactly where we'd find that here.
Do you think he'd attack us again? It's only been a few weeks. Not even a few weeks. Like,
I don't trust him.
It's been more than a few weeks. It's been at least a month. And to be fair, he did help us last time. He's the remember, he's the only reason Elway is still alive right now.
I mean, yeah.
I I'd still rather not have my soul kidnapped for a third time.
I don't like it either, but we knew we would have to interact with him at least once more, and potentially more.
Well, hopefully this time he doesn't put me in some ridiculous skin-tight get-up.
I hated using a bow. It hurt. You put Lee in full
Y-
armor.
My outfit
I
certainly
didn't.
wasn't flattering, but I did appreciate the booze.
I didn't like it.
I know.
I could not escape it. That's weird for me.
So, what exactly would prevent against? I mean, is he an is he considered an Aslar or like a Fae?
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's, if I recall correctly, Game Master is the Asmar of Chaos. The but he is also an entity that contains pieces of Altea.
So, if I remember correctly, his parentage comes from Mount Asteria. Oh,
That is
is it
correct.
parentage? We don't. Game Master is just a mask.
Game Master does refer to himself as himself. He uses male pronouns.
Yeah, it's weird
Just
to
for
think
the
that
sake of
he's
that.
just. Does he have a body anywhere? Or is he just
It,
living here? Anyway,
it could very well be a case of of similarly with Animus.
with what?
Hello.
The
Animus.
doll.
Ah, that fucking thing.
Yes, the doll that has the weirdly human eyes.
The because Animus used to be the merchant of necessity.
Yeah. Yay. That's right.
So there's the potential that I don't know if it's going to be the same with him being a living being, but there's a potential that he was also changed as well.
Oh, it seems that we're in Blossom Kingdom. They might have some sort of good luck charms or protection charms that people might be selling around this time of year.
Oh, there's quite a few. There's quite a few various good luck Onomori um, um, entire charms, items that you can carry amongst you, walking staffs, musical instruments, all sorts of things that they have for various types of fortunes. Maybe we might see some at the festival. Speaking of which, Morgan, how's it out there? We haven't been able to experience anything yet.
But
From what little I saw, it just seems that it's probably going to pick up as night falls, but just your standard, you know, happy atmosphere out there. Although, while I was off walking with my father while y'all were coming back, I can't remember the name of the event, but he said there's going to be one happening tomorrow night. It's just a atmospheric event. The smaller moon's going to go behind the bigger one.
a moon eclipse.
That's ominous, but very interesting.
Or maybe the moon's getting swallowed.
The way he talked about it, it's just like it goes behind it and it makes rainbow light. I think
It's getting eaten.
I think it's similar to the event we attended at the Zamodus Temple.
Ooh, we get to see more pretty lights.
Yeah.
Is this an event that anyone else in the group has seen before?
Uh, Givenchy spent more than a year in the Blossom Kingdom before, hasn't he? I think we
Yes.
discussed that previously. Then yes, this would be an event that he's actually semi-familiar with. It happens once a year at the midday, essentially the night that is the midpoint of the Mortal Carnival. It's referred to as the Radiant Moon or the Aurora Moon. Like it's called different names, but it's essentially the smaller moon that is in the night sky, which has never been addressed before, really. But there are two moons in the night sky of this world. One that is about as large as the sun appears in the sky, and then one that is about a third the size of the other one. But that smaller moon will circle behind the other moon and be completely eclipsed by it. And it causes this sort of like aurora borealis effect to spread out over the night sky.
Ah,
And it's
yes.
thought of like that is the time when spirits are supposed to pass on to elsewhere.
Yes, it's been so long since I last saw one, but no, I had forgotten about it. That's meant referred to as the Radiant Moon. I forgot that it happens around this time of year.
That's what he said
That's
it was, yeah.
uh, that's entirely the point of the festival. Since legend has it that uh, amongst the aurora that covers the entire sky is when souls are allowed to move on.
Why does everyone else get the cool festivals and events that happen, and we got nothing cool?
No, trust me, the
Because
Draic Empire is very, very different from Granum.
No
Yeah,
shit, I'm figuring that out now.
yeah, Da Vinci, you're pretty aware of this at this point. The Draic Empire is steeped in culture and traditions. Some of them, frankly, unnecessary. Who is measuring Fellhaven?
Failsy is trying to figure out how many acid waves it will take to completely core it in two.
Okay. I just saw that. It's just like, what is happening there?
Yes, if I launch a rocket now, how long will it take to land it right there?
That depends entirely on what your fuel source is and how aerodynamic your rocket is.
Also, the thruster shape.
Uh,
But
does Granum have many festivals?
Also, I do magic.
uh, not a lot actually. There's not a lot of like. There's cultural tradition, but not a whole lot of specific celebration in Granum. I mean, most of the events of the Draic Empire that have been discussed already are also celebrated in Granum, but not as festivals, just as sort of like recognized holidays.
Yeah. No, the most I've really gotten from any of the holidays have been like this is happening. The Drag Empire is very much like we want the reason to party.
Yeah. And if anything, the main reason why it is recognized is because around these times of years, weird stuff starts happening in Granum. Like the wisps and stuff migrating. That ends up happening in Granum around
Yeah.
this time of year, so that is kind of why there's sort of not a lot of traditions based around the same thing, because they're kind of just tired of the weird stuff that ends up happening because of them.
Hmm. Yeah, the most culture, the most kind of more festivity sort of things tend to end up leaning more towards the regional, the Ironwood orcs. They have their own reasons for celebrating, though they're Far and few in between, but they make fun parties.
Well, this gives you an opportunity uh, to get well acquainted with the festivities of the Testa Forest. Come on, let's go.
Yes, I need to. Who all wants protection charms?
I think
I
I
think
might.
I'll be fine.
I'm going to need to at least be getting picking up some wisteria perfume when I can.
Oh, do we think what you could be like? Could I make you a wisteria like flower crown?
Depends if you can get access to actual flowers. That some of them can be expensive.
Yeah, Keta, you're actually realizing you don't know what wisteria flowers are.
Eh.
He's saying that, but you don't know what those are.
You no. You have minor illusion intervention,
No,
prestidigitation.
no.
Don't know what a wisteria flower looks like.
I'm sorry, I don't deal and dabble in illusions.
It seems like it'd be a perfect thing for you.
I guess the only way you're probably gonna find one then is by looking around the festival.
How am I supposed to identify it if I don't know what it looks like?
Ask
Someone
around.
probably gonna be telling you what it is. I've been to a festival before. I stopped in a port during a festival.
Sorry, just the way Lee phrased that. I've been to a festival before.
It's how he
Been
talks.
outside.
To be fair, he's a sheltered boy.
Can I make a history check to see if Failsy's ever cracked open a botany book?
You
Wouldn't that be
can,
more
but
of a nature check?
yeah, that would be more of a nature check, honestly.
That's even worse. Okay, let's do that.
Roll that nature.
14.
Uh, I mean, you have probably cracked open a botany book before, but that's never been your particular field of study. So you're passively aware that these exist, but have never witnessed one.
Those just shrugs like, I don't know.
Excuse me.
You can find
All I
some-
can, all I can say is that there are 10 known trees currently in existence, and their locations are kept government secret. Getting actual flowers is going to be expensive.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, the next best bet is then perfume, which we could like
Mm.
douse you in it.
Gee,
Yes, so anyone want to do anything before they head out before we go to the festivities?
I bought something I wanted to change into.
Ooh, what'd you get? What'd you get?
I got a yukata.
What?
Some traditional wear in these parts.
Ah, okay.
I'll be honest though, I don't really have much of an idea of how I'm meant to put this on.
I've had many interactions with women wearing those. I can help you out.
Alright,
Many interactions. Okay.
but
I think
I
that
know
means
what I
that he's
said.
taken them off before.
I think so too, Jamel.
Morgan is just kind of flustered and just opens up the package with the yukata she got just so she can show it to everybody first.
Yeah, do you want to describe like the patterning it had on it?
Yes, I'm only gonna use the one that we like use the photo reference as reference.
Yeah.
But she lays out that a black yukata that has like a dark pink, almost red sash, and on it is moon designs and little pink flowers.
No, this is a very pretty outfit. Very perfect for Arya.
That is quite lovely.
Which, by the way, how is she? Is she doing okay?
Haven't heard much from her in the last few days, but I'm sure if something was wrong, I would be told.
I just worry about her. I know she can handle herself, but it's nice to know that somebody at least worries. I guess when you're stuck in a sword. I mean, not really stuck. You know what I mean.
Huh. That reminds
What?
me. Did anyone check up on how Sonata and the others were doing?
I couldn't.
Yeah, none of you did.
Nope.
Whoops.
I
None
have
of,
other things to deal with.
It's. No, this would have been the perfect festival for Endless to come spend time with you at. You guys could have gone off and been alone.
I guess.
I have been trying to bug about the things to know about the festival, so you wouldn't have to deal with me.
Oh, so I'm the
okay.
babysitter. Okay.
yes.
It's either you or
Well.
Lee.
Well, you know what's going on. I sure as fuck don't.
I actually been looked around a bit where you guys were going. There's a lot of like little games and stuff they set up as the day goes on, so I kind of want to try out some of those.
Ah,
There's a
yes.
pie eating contest.
Oh,
And
I
there's
wanna
so
see
many
what-
little trinkets you can win.
I want to eat the pie.
I know I can't probably beat Lee in a pie eating contest, but like,
No.
you know. I mean,
I don't.
See,
Maybe
what
Jamel
I'm
can.
hearing is free pie. That's fine. I'll lose. I still get to eat a pie.
We should go there. I'm gonna go put on something and ball, and I'll be right back out.
Morgan, do you want to put that on?
Yeah.
That's when Lee. That's when Lee comes out actually wearing a shirt. We're all just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, hold it again. Hold on. And she hands you a little paper crane. Here you go.
Thank you, Kata.
While you guys were out, I was, folding paper. I need to keep my hands busy.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Alrighty then. So you're gonna separate a bit and get dressed up for the festival?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are masks typically worn for later in the night?
I mean, it's whatever you would prefer. The mask is typically not worn by adults unless they're like a religious practice, but no one's gonna stop you from wearing it.
But I
That's-
also look like I'm 15.
You're
That's
not wrong.
Kata is baby. Kata is baby.
For once, Kat is going to use her baby face to her advantage.
For once.
In a purposeful manner.
Yeah, for once.
Yes.
Right, because she definitely hasn't done that before.
Well, either way.
At least not in game.
Alright, so you both, or rather, anyone who plans to goes off to get themselves dressed proper. It's a bit of a process Morrigan having to get into that robe, but luckily Dravince is helping you with it. There's a lot of very specific tying that has to be done to keep it in place.
Nice.
Because it is essentially just a robe that has to be tied closed.
Yee. I've never worn one, but I know that they are.
Fels
I
got
just realized
a kimono.
Javinci would have to have Keta because she doesn't know how to tie it to her own outfit too.
Dravince having to help everyone.
No.
Except for Brimstone.
Brimstone.
Is
would
Brimstone
wear-
the only one not wearing some form of, like, specific, like, Eastern wear?
Probably.
Da Vinci doesn't have any, but he.
Yeah, but his normal clothes kind of fit the theme anyways, just in a much more flowy sense.
Yep.
Lee actually does come out wearing a yukata himself.
Okay. It's not an
What's-
actual shirt.
What's the pattern?
His is a very, like,
Pineapple.
deep blue. No. His is a very deep blue one that has repeating depictions of ocean waves on it.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
And it is specifically very loosely worn around his chest.
Keta's hiding
It's-
her face because that looks too good on him.
It's almost as loosely worn as a busty female character in an anime.
Perfect. Perfect.
I mean, the only part of that doesn't fit Lee is female.
You're not wrong. Lee do got the titties.
You know Keta's hiding her face because he looks too handsome in it.
This man is like 7 feet tall and fucking ripped.
He's thick, he's not ripped.
Well, okay, but yeah, he has mass. He's not a
He do
skinny
got-
boy.
He do got mass. But yes. Oop, Failsy's typing something.
He's got the bodybuilder, or not bodybuilder, the power lifter.
He actually more has like the physical build of a well muscled baker.
Okay, fair. But still, he's got that. He's not just all muscle. He's got a core.
Yeah. He's got to have a core for when he squats to lift that bread out of the oven.
For when he's lifting an industrial-sized wok.
Yes, it's not wrong. This actually is kind of nice because it doesn't hurt. It's loose,
does.
it's flowy, the fabric is soft.
It doesn't chafe my nipples.
Exactly. Exactly, secondary me voice.
That doesn't sound quite like me.
You do
Did you
pull
get
that look off quite well.
Thank you.
Did you get that out? Get that while we were gone?
Yes. I got this while I was looking around at the festivities, trying to figure out what was around.
I should
And
look
while I
to
was
picking
shopping.
up- I should look to picking up an outfit. There's an outfit that I used to wear back when I was working in the capital. I should see about if they. I should see if they sell that outfit here.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of pretty good clothing stores in the area.
And my outfit's pretty comfortable, though I had to get tailored because I'm short.
Yeah. Alright, so everyone's looking a bit gussied up now. Except for Brimstone, but that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
So,
Brimstone,
y'all
who
want...
basically had to be wrestled into anything more formal than what he wears now when receiving medals. Just no! Fuck off!
You can't make me! They're making you. Fuck!
Pray Felsi never learns Piccolo's clothes beam attack.
Clothing beam!
And that's
Fuck yeah, skill.
that's what she keeps making it like over the brand, and it just all lights on fire again. Yes, flash.
Alrighty then.
Hey.
No, just one sleeve burns off of all of his clothing. Alrighty then. So, y'all can now head out onto the scene. So, just to set the tone a little bit, though this is definitely a much more what we would think of as potentially like a fall to Halloween themed sort of harvest festival, at least in aesthetic, there is actually a lot of general merriment going on around the city. I should probably get some more fitting music for what's happening right now. All of my music is relaxing, and it doesn't need to be right now.
Why am I hearing spooky, scary skeletons?
Ash, did you... Oh, loud.
Sorry, it was much louder than it needed to be.
But did you see the thing I had posted in our game chat for... at end of session?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't have to be done right now, I just wanted to make sure you saw it.
Can you quickly put that back into the mug shots just so I have... or DM it to me directly just so I have access to it real quick?
Yes, it'll take me a second.
Because it's gotten a little buried in all the other conversations. Alright. So, but yes, the tone around the town is generally pretty lively. Excuse me again. I'm sorry. I should stop drinking soda while I'm DMing.
Except for the summoning of the demons over there.
Oh, listen. The demon summoning is part of the festivities.
Look,
They help
it's
push
fine.
the spirits back.
It's fine. It's casual. Why does that one look like my dad? Fuck.
It's just a tiny version of your dad, but it's an imp. That music was not set to loop. I'm dumb.
It's an imp. So it was dad when he was a baby.
A wee cuckoo.
Then yet still somehow having the same voice.
I almost went into Michael Caine on accident. Anyways,
Yeah.
moving on.
before
Don't
we
get
stuck
caught
in
on
that.
it. Okay. But, yes, the city around you is pretty lively and popping as you all are making your way through it. You see various different members of the Buzzkin race. Not only bees, obviously, it's just general insects and types creatures. Several types of small ants and large varieties of like humanoid beetle type entities. Buzzkins are a strange and varied race, though they do mostly consist of the bee and wasp-like creatures that you've come to know. But Lee is actually kind of leading the pack towards this one particularly large gathering area, actually in the market square where you found Keta, where a large section of the market stalls have been pushed off to the side, and a podium has been erected next to the fountain, whereas the plaza at the stairs below the podium has several long tables set up along it. And you see people already gathering around, some of them holding small slips of paper. Sorry, having to multitask?
Is this the
But
pride
some-
eating contest place?
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. I saw this when I was trying to get stuff around. Excuse me. And I thought it would be a real fun thing to do. It seems really fun. Apparently you got to go up to one of those people over there. And you all can see there's a couple of individuals holding essentially these long reels of paper. And one of them has an ink and quill sitting next to that person holding that long reel of paper. You go over there. They brought you a number, as long as there's numbers left, so I hope we haven't missed out. But they'll give you a number, and you take that seat. and when time goes, you just go ham at it.
Huh.
Apparently, the person making the pies is that fella up on the big stage up there. And he points upwards, and you see a person in like a very like stereotypical chef's hat. Aside from the fact that that chef's hat has 3 small thunderclouds circling it, and they are they're just gently curling this long, windly mustache they have. But it's like a plump, older ginger fellow.
Alright. Let's go get numbers.
Yeah.
I'll pass, thank you.
Oh, what? You don't want to join in the contest?
Yeah, I think I'm going to venture on this.
I thought you wanted free pie.
Yeah, but also no.
Brimstone's being a pussy, I'll do it.
I don't think. You know, what if they lie just to solve the pie and then drink it?
Lee has already walked ahead of the rest of you.
She's following close behind.
Alright.
I went pie.
You wish to go, Morgan?
I'll watch, but I don't particularly feel like participating.
Morgan, can you hold my mask for me?
Yeah.
Keto was saying, I want pie. I thought she was saying, I want Pat.
I want Pat. Guys, there's 4 tickets left. Me and Ken
Come on, Filsy. Brimstone.
Come on, Brimstone, you might as well make a decision against your better judgment one time out of many.
Alright.
Yay! Yeah, so I actually rolled to see how many slots would be open, and it was 4. So, the 4 entries into this are going to be Brimstone, Failsy, Keta, and Lee. Pie eating. Brim. Fail. Ket. And Lee.
I like Ket, even though her name is 4 characters.
Listen, you got Bree, Fiel, Ket, and Lee. They each only get 3 letters.
Oh, okay.
See? I bet you that I could eat at least 2 pies.
Failsy plotting to cheat anyway.
Wringing hands mischievously.
How many pies do you think you could eat, Lee?
All of them.
I don't think.
All of them?
Yes.
She pauses for a moment, looks him up and down, and goes, "You know, give it what that maybe."
All the pies.
Kind of wish Madame Melee could join us out and about. I know she's resting.
You folks enjoy. I'm going to see what other attractions are going on in the festival.
You think you could possibly pick me up a protection charm while I'm eating pie?
If I see a vendor selling on the mori, I'll pick you one up.
Thank you. Preferably one hand held. I'm not good with it. I'm okay with instruments, but you know. I'm going to get so sick off of pie. It's gonna be great.
Stupid question. If I use elemental breath without actually using the breath weapon, would my mouth just be full of acid?
I mean, if I say yes to that, you have to acknowledge the fact that you are still not immune to acid damage and will start melting yourself. You are not immune to your own acid. If it were to just sit in your mouth, you would have problems.
Acid, the snack that bites back.
Yes. Alrighty then. Brimstone, Failsy, Keta, and Lee all take positions. The individual on the stage, this strange Sheffley individual, steps forward as all of the tables are filled.
I don't know why I like the adjective Sheffley.
That's the adjective.
I know.
That's what he is.
No. It's just amusing for some reason.
He's Sheffley. But yes, he steps forwards, patting his hands, a cloud of flour coming off of him as he does so. Which is weird, he didn't seem to have any flour on him previously.
He's just like Lee.
Ah, yes, everyone! It is so good to see everyone gathered here today! He just starts announcing, kind of before the actual announcer of the crowd even gets a chance to step forward. Welcome to my most extreme of pie-eating contests! All of these pies are baked by yours truly, and I hope you all will enjoy them most deliciously. Mwah. He says, just kissing all of his fingers and doing that sort of brushing away motion with his hand. What the actual announcer finally actually stepping up and just sort of giving him a bit of a side eye.
God damn it, Dale! You do this every year.
It is kind of that kind of emotion going through here. Yes, everyone. I'm glad to see everyone's gathered here again for another extreme pie eating contest. We've yet to have anyone die yet, so I'm glad to see everyone returning for another bout of strange and oddities before you.
Oh no.
As he says that, seemingly via magic, a pie appears in front of every person sitting in this crowd. By the way, there's about 25 individuals present. Just 5 tables of 5 chairs apiece. You all are making up one of the back tables.
Who is the poor sod sitting with them too?
Just some really just generic-looking elven citizen.
Depends on who they're sitting next to.
Alrighty then. You all know how this goes? Feast upon your pies, and whoever is the last one sitting at their table, we have clerics on hand, do not worry. You are declared the winner, and will find yourselves the proud owner of... And he looks over to... What?
I said more pie.
Yes. No, but he looks over to the Sheffley individual. Yes, that is the adjective. That's what I'm going to keep using. And let's see what reward gets assigned to this one.
It's a new car.
A new cart! It's not magical, but it is fancy. No.
Ah, fuck it.
Alrighty then. Alright.
Is this a no hands or hands sort of thing?
Listen, there's other things that are going to be a problem here.
Listen, it doesn't hurt to ask.
You can eat with your hands, yes.
Alright.
There are also utensils nearby if one is so inclined, though your hands are probably going to be the preferred. Alrighty then. So, roll for this. So I kind of hope you all win this one, but it's a good thing you all have 4 combatants in this. Combatants, I say with quotes.
Participants.
It's combatants.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes. I have decided I'm going to put forward quite a prize for this particular challenge, as I have decided to really give it my all for these pies. And he reaches behind his back and produces forward a bottle of a nearly clear light blue liquid. This, a fine bottle of wisteria perfume.
Damn it.
Yeah, I rolled this one. It's just like, this was a potential reward for a couple of things in this challenging area, so this is the one that got it. Might show up again at a future point. Whoever is the last one standing able to eat all of my delicious pies, you will be the one who will claim this most wondrous of rewards.
I need to win it for today.
Yes, alright everyone. On the count of 3, you may begin. 1, 2, 3. I need all people involved to make a Constitution saving throw.
I used to be good at these.
I need to roll for Lee.
I was using a patented Zemoda Temple snake swallowing technique just wrong.
Is that how you swallow snakes?
No, that's how snakes swallow things. She just unhinges her jaw and eats.
Alrighty then. So let's see. I rolled thresholds for everyone for this one. Brimstone and Keta. Your pies are completely normal pies. They appear to be, at this juncture, a nice, fairly sweet berry filling.
Keta is using her hands as best she can.
Yes, you shovel and you shovel.
No, this is an endurance contest, not a quantity contest.
Alrighty then. It's both, actually. You'll see.
Okay, fair.
Depends on what happens with the pies. So, as you all start eating and eating, 2 things end up happening, specifically with Failsy and with Lee. Failsy, as you're eating using your patented snake swallowing maneuver, you find that the pie was good, but it wasn't very filling. You think you can eat plenty more. You all look over at Lee, and he's not there.
God damn it. He went invisible.
No,
Oh.
you pat in his seat, he's not there.
Oh. Oh no.
Excuse me, my boyfriend went missing.
Don't worry, he'll turn up somewhere else.
No, that's important. We need him here.
He'll be fine. Keep eating! So Lee unfortunately rolled a 100 on the magical pie table. 100. You are teleported to a random location within 5 miles and disqualified from the contest. So that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, within 5 miles. How fast can he fucking run to get to us?
He'll find you all before the contest is over. He's just really confused right now. Because he's still in sitting position in a back alley somewhere with the rest of the pie, just like, what happened?
Might as well finish this pie. No, teleport.
Oh, pie. I think it's only the one.
Yeah, he only gets 1 pie, but he has no idea what just happened. Alright, new magic table. Again, Keta and Brimstone don't get weird magical effects. But Next round, you all finished one pie. Let's see if you can finish another. The DC increases slightly.
Yeah, apparently. Oh. I heard just like, oh, these are magic. Fuck.
Ellie's part of the magic, so she's going to possibly try and cheat.
There's no cheating allowed.
Wait. Fails he trying to cheat? What is it, Saturday already?
Nah, no bless.
You go to do that, but as you're attempting to cast the spell for it, it doesn't work, as you turn into a goat.
And they're disqualified.
Nope, not disqualified. You can continue eating.
Oh! Oh, the pie turns her into a goat. Got it.
Okay.
Yes, Failsy has been magically polymorphed for 1 round into a goat.
So does she make her
You can
constitution save with a goat?
No, you
Or
make the
with her.
Constitution save at the beginning of eating to see if you maintain it.
okay. Fair.
Her next round is just made with the Goat Constitution modifier, which is a 11. So no modifier, you just roll a d20.
Failsy didn't roll Constitution yet.
Did Failsy not? Oh, that was for the last round. Yeah, the one you make for this round will be with your normal stats. Next round will not.
Okay. Does that stop my spell?
I think they were.
It would
casting the
technically
spell
make you
before they started
stop
eating.
concentrating on it. Well, that's weird, because that's still a success. You know what? Make a concentration check with the goat stat, so just make a d10 roll, and see if you can maintain concentration as you are turned into a goat.
You mean D20?
Or D20.
It's a d20, but there's no modifier.
Yeah.
4.
Alright, so unfortunately you do not maintain concentration as you are now a goat. You're a goat eating a pie. This actually happens to 3 people this round. Alright, but Brimstone, second pie down, no problem. Absolutely nobody's business. You are powering through this. You've eaten far more before.
Problem.
You've eaten far more of far worse pies before.
Yeah.
You had to suffer through redemption baking.
No, it was probably his own. Well, where you burnt it, you gotta eat it, boy. Ah, damn it!
Alrighty then. So the next round comes around. Another pie is set before you all magically. The previous pie brushed away. No crumbs left behind. New Constitution saving throws.
Natural 20!
Keta consumes.
Kenta is just trying to hype herself up, just like, I gotta make my orc family proud.
Bleats.
Alright then. Failsy continues to chomp, despite being goat. At the end of the pie, Failsy stops being a goat, and Brimstone becomes a goat, and Keta becomes a goat. Actually, wait, everyone becomes goats again.
Jesus.
All 3 of you are goats currently, because I rolled an 82, 81, and 81.
Go!
It's a purple goat, a pink goat, and a green goat.
Yes, Brimstone, you just succeeded that round.
Oh. So I was just like,
Literally
fuck.
just succeeded.
I was just like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore.
Goat. You're now a goat. You want to continue eating the pie. Failsy, you stop being a goat for a second, and you're like, okay, goat.
Let's try it, goat.
don't need anything to cast magic. I can cast magic as goat.
No, whenever you're polymorphed, you lose your spellcasting abilities.
Correct.
Alrighty then. New round of Constitution saving throw from everyone as goat.
Arcade!
Alright. Noting down the numbers rolled. Alright. Failsy, as this point as a goat, you're like, goat stomach full. And you have to back away. And you realize you've become a human again, but you've already disqualified. Your goat brain made you disqualify. You were out of the running, unfortunately, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Alright, Keta and Brimstone, you eat away with your goat brains. You are not deterred by being goat. You are goat and you are proud. You continue munching. Nothing weird magical happens this time.
I just like the idea that they still have their respective horn patterns. So you know, yeah. Keta just has
Just a
nubs.
bunch of little nubs.
Yeah, and then
You both have
Brimstone-
just a bunch of little nubs.
Well, yeah.
Keta's a pygmy goat. So she's like halfway up on the table just dead.
Alrighty then. You all become humans again.
I'm very small.
Or rather, you become not goats again.
Yeah.
'Cause neither of you are humans, respectively.
I just imagine Keta the most feral like position when she comes out of being a goat.
No.
Just like standing on her hands and feet just over the table, just like,
You all become humans again. Finally, Da Vinci's not the only one.
God, that would be weird.
Keta is never human.
I don't know if Unicorn Ash just keeps rolling like in the 80s. So it's just like another one. God damn it!
No, I'm checking to see how many of the other combatants are losing every round.
No, okay.
The lineup's getting a little thin. 13 other individuals besides your own people have dropped out now. So 15
So-
of 25 are already gone.
So we're down
10
to
remain. 10 remain, of which you are 2.
Come
Alrighty
on, 1 in
then.
5 chance. That's how statistics work, right?
Kinda. So,
Yeah.
Is Lee
Let's
still
go.
in the running?
no, he was disqualified in the first round when his pie teleported him away from the arena.
Oh shit! I
Yeah,
must.
these are magic pies.
I must not have heard. I dealing with
It's
thing.
fine.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. Yeah. Yeah, Lee ate a pie in the first round, and literally, like, halfway through it, he just went,
Yeah.
I want to picture that he appeared in front of Da Vinci in the chair holding the pie, and just the two of them stare at each other confused.
yes, that's exactly what happens. And he's not with the chair, he's just, like, electric chairing. Also, I forgot to roll for the first round, so I had to mark out the other people who got disqualified in the first round, which actually means that, because I rolled a 5 for how many people got knocked out in the first round. Apparently people couldn't handle it. By the way, some people are just like... Yeah,
Telephone.
you're down to 7 right now, of which you all are 2 of them. But yeah, just to paint a perspective, by the way, some people are occasionally bursting into flames or just randomly disappearing. Or you've heard one pie, and the person who this happened to just got up and walked away. One pie just started screaming.
Hello!
Yes, that is what happened.
Oh,
All right.
now I'm just picturing a pie jumping up and doing the cupcake "I Want to Die" song.
No, it just starts screaming bloody murder.
Missed
All
right.
muffin.
Next Constitution saving throw, with your actual stats now.
6. Ugh.
No, we both fail.
All right. I also rolled a 5 for how many people get eliminated, so that I'm gonna have to roll a probability to see who's the last one standing in this round. Because
Me.
everyone got knocked out in this last round.
Me, I have the gun.
Everyone stop eating, I have a gun! Speaking of guns, Brimstone, as you consume the pie, you're like,
Oh,
okay,
it better
I'm
not animate.
okay, I'm fine. It hits your stomach, and you just feel boom inside your body. Just like, oh, that's not good.
Oh, fuck?
As the pie explodes inside you,
Oh, nice.
dealing damage.
No.
No, too late.
Not nice.
It's. Don't worry, there are clerics on standby to fix it.
Wait, hold on. Do you intend to tell me that if something explodes within you, it will likely cause traumatic injury?
Yes, as you take 9 points of internal damage
Oh, that's fine.
and are internally hemorrhaging.
Not my first time!
Not the first time, no. Yeah.
That's fine, I've lost an arm before, I know how to go...
Yeah, I rolled a 98 for him, which is the pie explodes as it hits your stomach, causing a rupture. You take 3d8 damage now and at the start of each turn until you are healed.
Question. Bonus action. I know it's not in combat, but...
No, this is technically combat.
Okay, so
This
bonus
is not
action.
initiative action. Do you want to second wind?
Yeah.
You want to flex your stomach back together? Just
I said get back there!
yes.
I picture it less that and more just the brand. Just he gets this the fuck brand somehow fixed itself.
All right, that's the number I'll give Brimstone.
But
I'm
yeah, after
rolling
that, I'm
probability checks to see who stays in the round because everyone got, or who was the last one standing this round.
yeah.
Keta gets that. Other combatant gets that. 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 Oh, that person dropped first. They rolled a 1.
Oof, good luck.
So due to your second wind, which made me roll twice for you, you got, instead of a 7, you got a 17, Brimstone. Because you were able to heal yourself, unlike everyone else in the area who, if they want to be healed, they have to go to one of the clerics.
I can
So
heal
you-
myself.
Well, I wasn't counting you, and you also didn't have your stomach explode.
Correct.
You just ate a completely normal pie with a roll of 1. So, Brimstone, you end up being the person last at the table, begrudgingly staring at this pie as you clench your fist in rage to make your stomach stop rupturing.
Yeah, it's more just
Like a
Where
bunch,
does
like a,
Captain out in all of this?
pretty early. You're getting the hurls. Because
Probably
the
runs
numbers
on
I rolled,
stage.
yeah, the numbers I rolled were 1, 6, 7, which was Keta, 10, 15, 16, and then 17, which was Brimstone.
I picture Brimstone staring at his and the guy who's last is just like,
Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
guy
no.
who's like to your side, and he tries to look at you, almost trying to do the same thing you are, but then you just look at him, and he has like the blood draining from his face as he sees the death in your eyes, and he just stands up.
He's just like, you know what? Not worth it.
Just, you know what? Just stands up. I'm fine with living today.
I need a trash can.
Yeah, there are bins around that you can go relieve yourself.
I need a child.
I need a child?
Her name is Ralph.
What? Okay.
Don't worry about it.
I don't. Okay. So as you are still sitting down, everyone else has stood up. The round chefly man of ginger
Brimstone hasn't
hair and
noticed.
twirly mustache.
He's still staring at the fucking thing, just like.
Yes, the round ginger man of chefly form and twirly mustache. He steps forward, just like, "It would seem we have a winner. You there, sir in green, please come forward."
There's a knife in Brimstone's hand. It might be a little melted now.
It's a little bendy, just a little soft.
Just kind of stand.
Yeah, you stand. You stand, and you have like the little like smoke plume come out of the mouth as you just exhale.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, the pies were delicious. Just that last one exploded. It's like that SpongeBob pie. These pies are bombs. They made a bomb factory.
Bombs.
But yes, if he so chooses to, I don't know why he wouldn't, but it's still a choice. He can walk up to the front now.
Yeah.
Just like, "And what's your name, good sir?"
It takes him a second because just like, Brimstone.
Brimstone! He just like extends both hands out wide. You worry for a second that he's about to rush forward and try to hug you, but he doesn't.
Just every time this man talks, Brimstone is internally like, "God damn it."
Brimstone, for being the last one standing, I would like to present you this. And he just does an overly exaggerated bow forwards, his hand held outwards, as you have this small bottle of perfume with this very delicate blue ribbon wrapped around it, just held out to you.
Yeah, just take it. Just yeah.
Do you like immediately try to start walking away?
Not immediately, because he has the feeling that he's gonna keep talking.
That is fair and also true.
Because
Yeah.
Brimstone's been here before.
Fair enough. As you like think you might be able to start walking away, he like seizes your wrist, and this man is shorter than you, but he still like raises your hand up with his, which sort of like puts your hand like kind of at your head level, but held way out to the side. We have a winner! Cheering through the vomit.
Just Morgan off in the crowd clapping for him.
Yeah, like a lot of the bystanders are clapping, but like doing like the just like, "Oh yes, nice," like golf claps. Like this isn't like several people didn't just spontaneously combust while eating these pies.
Yes, decent show this time around. Decent show.
That's basically what they're doing. Alrighty then, good sir. I hope you have a wonderful day and the rest of the festivities. And if you need any assistance, feel free to ask our cleric bystanders, and they will be very thankful to help you.
Yeah.
He releases your hand.
Yeah, just kind of pull it back and just start walking off.
You are not stopped this time. Alrighty then.
Feeling better, she's gonna run
And
over
then-
to get her mask and join
And then
Brimstone.
immediately spike. No, I'm kidding.
Just throw it straight to the ground. Da Vinci doesn't get this.
Yeah, fuck Da Vinci now.
No.
Oh, that.
No, I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
that bastard to spend money.
Yeah,
All this money.
just walk over and just here. I blew up my stomach for you.
Da Vinci, what?
Yeah, Da Vinci left.
Yeah, Da Vinci, you're just meanwhile like not completely out of earshot of what's going on over there, because this whole time it's been like this constant like ruckus sound, and you do occasionally see just like a plume of fire come up, which makes you a little concerned. But you were just like over out in another stall with like a bunch of like these small, not necessarily totally maybe effective, but the normal like traditional like guardian charms and talismans one can acquire at these festivals. And also randomly Lee just appears next to you in squatting position with a pie. And he like looks around side to side without breaking his stance.
I want to picture it's like 2 to 3 blocks away. They're just that loud and boisterous. He's like, huh. Looks back at the event. Looks back at Lee. Well then.
This is good pie. Just continues eating.
Well, you want to get back there?
Yeah. I think I might be disqualified because I am not in the game right now.
You could still possibly ask about getting some more pie.
Another person turned into a goat and someone else bursted into flames. So they're good pies, but I don't know if it's worth it.
You know what? Fair. Oh, what do you think about this charm? Do you think Keta would like that one?
It's got a butterfly on it, so I think she will.
Alright,
Oh,
I'll
this
take
one's
this.
got one of those flowers she likes right now. Just holds another one up that has like a wood-burned hydrangea flower on it.
Oh.
I think this
That
would be
one's
good
rather
for.
nice.
Yeah.
Just pick up a charm.
Yeah, they're like a silver apiece. Again, you're not sure if they're necessarily meant to be effective or if they're just meant to be a sort of souvenir type object. If you wanted like a serious charm, you'd probably have to go to a shrine. Which
Yeah,
there is one in the city.
Yeah, Da Vinci knows that. So like it ultimately ends up being more like a souvenir / placebo effect.
Yeah.
But get
To
a
be
little
fair.
thing for Keta.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, a lot of the reason why yokai end up noticing you is because of your negative emotions and wariness of them in the first place. So having even a charm to keep you from being worried is a protective measure. But yeah. You both end up making their way back probably right around the time when Brimstone is being hoisted on the stage.
Oh, so he won. What was the prize?
Wisteria
asking towards Morgan.
perfume.
Oh,
Oh yeah, maybe I should have said that.
I don't know if... Well, very good that he got it.
Saves the time and money of having to track it down and buy some.
Keta comes wobbling over at this point, looking pale around the gills.
Cassie presses digitation on herself to get herself clean.
She wobbles over, head immediately into Lee.
I want my mask back.
Just,
I feel icky.
yeah. Yeah, just pat Lee Like, I
On
think
hold.
she needs emotional support.
No, I don't want to be touched. I ate so much pie.
Here's your mask back.
Thank you. I out-ate you, Lee. Ha!
I didn't get a choice, so it doesn't count.
I still out-ate you.
No, you didn't out-eat me. I got thrown. It was cheating.
No, it doesn't. It was part of the game.
No, I do not accept it.
Oh,
His
and,
eyes just narrow at you, Keta.
Oh,
I
and
ate
Keta,
so much pie.
here. Managed to pick this up for you at a stall.
Ooh, hey, thank ya. She puts it on.
There's a number of really good vendors just down over that way. Lots of local commodities. And souvenirs.
Yeah, you would have also seen, just walking around, that there was another couple of games going on.
Well, we want to try another game, maybe win another prize, see if no, somebody does get himself disqualified on pure chance.
Yeah. All right.
And
We'll probably-
and that's when.
We'll probably do one or two more games, but
Or he.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what these games options are, just the names of them, maybe a brief description, and then we're gonna go to break.
Alright, because I need to pee.
All right. We have bumper elephants.
Oh, that
You're
sounds
You're mounted on the back of an elephant, and you try to knock other combatants off their elephants to win. You have a lasso and an elephant. See how you win. High strikers. You are provided a large great hammer, and you must try to hit a boulder as far as possible across a field using only 3 strikes of the great hammer. And there's another one. And shoot the goblin. A little bit of a controversial game, but you are provided a quiver of 6 arrows, and have varying difficulties of targets to hit. The higher the rating of the target, the more of points you earn.
Gee, I wonder
Sounds
which
like one for you, Brimstone.
We'll do 2 of them.
Bumper elephants.
Yeah, Da Vinci wants to do bumper elephants.
Yeah, I feel like the obvious choice is the bumper elephants and the shooting, because big hammer, we is strong. No,
We
Dang,
can
that's
Jamel
the
do it.
simplest one. Can Elway do it? I mean,
I mean Jamel, Elway, Lee.
I mean, if you guys want to potentially get a guaranteed win, then you all could have Jamel, Elway, and Lee participate in High Strikers.
Fuck.
That is almost a guaranteed win.
Well, yeah.
But
Here's
we're
the
only
thing,
going to
would
do
Elway
2
be
of
down
these.
for it?
She'd probably be down for it.
No, what would Morgan like?
I don't know.
Fair enough. But yeah, rope the strong NPCs into the hammer game.
All right. Well, something to think about for whenever we come back, but let's go ahead and go on bio break.
Yeah.
Alrighty, 5 to 10 peoples.
I'm just going to be over here vibing to the music. I don't know who else is still here, but
I am here.
I hope the pie eating competition was funny.
It was.
Yeah, I have like a system set up behind the screen about different party games. I like how whenever you look up anything D&D related on Reddit, it just brings up a bunch of other D&D related stuff.
Like the algorithm should.
Yeah. No, but like this alternate design for a Kitty Whippins.
I've seen it. It's great.
Oh,
That's
that's just
Bloodborne.
right downright eldritch.
That's some Bloodborne ass shit.
It's a pretty cool design for a Kitty Whippins. I would use that for like a dire Displacer Beast.
That's Grandpappy Displacer Beast. Grandpappy Weapons. Pappy Weapons.
Pappy Whippins. Pappy Whippins is something you never want.
Or do you?
No.
No.
If I thought someone calling me daddy in bed was weird, if someone called me pappy, I'd be done. Just, nope!
You've got a kink, you've got two kinks layered over top of each other, and I'm not into either one!
I'm gonna go. Thanks. Bye.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
And I say this as a person who's into older men.
Was someone calling you that?
I'm definitely not a pappy. If I were a grandfather at my age, then there's a problem.
I don't know. Maybe you had. I don't know.
There's a problem if I was
Guinea
a grandfather at my age.
Guinea pigs. Or rabbits.
I do not give birth to rodents.
I mean, some people consider their animals like their children, and if your animals had kids, then you'd be happy.
I would be a multi-generational god at this point, if that were the case.
That's fair.
Because I've owned hamsters before.
I haven't. The only pet I have is a dog, and he runs into walls because he's stupid.
Don't own hamsters.
No.
This is a weird thing I ended up looking up because I was just randomly talking with my mother a few days ago about wolf dogs. And I was thinking about, like, are wolf dogs an animal you're actually allowed to own in the state I live in? Because they're technically considered an exotic animal.
Right.
And I found out that they are technically considered a non-permitted, as in you don't need a permit to own them, exotic animal that can be owned in my state. Along with hamsters, llamas, goats, guinea pigs, parakeets, but not macaws.
Monkey.
If you do not have a very specific permit, you are not allowed to earn a macaw in my state.
Fair. Because those little bastards are angry. I don't know. Owning a bird that smart is like having a toddler for 60 years.
50 years, but yeah.
But a toddler that can and will bite your finger off, if angry.
But also gay bird.
And also very jealous.
Just counterpoint, Gaybird. I would not want to own a creature that's beak can break open a cashew.
Yeah, no thank you.
That's just asking to have parts of your body removed unwillingly.
Like finger.
Yeah.
Talk about
Does
a
not take
nutcracker.
much force to remove a finger.
No, you could technically bite through your own finger if not for your brain stopping you from doing it.
Yeah.
Which is why it's terrifying to have the condition where you can't feel pain.
I don't know if you... It's not really pain that stops you from doing it.
It is exclusively pain that stops you from doing it. It's your brain's natural pain receptors that, even if you're not aware of them, cause you to stop doing things that hurt your body. People who don't have that natural pain limitation can literally break their arms because they tense their muscles too much.
Okay, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, because if you have any form of like physical activity in your body and have any amount of strength in your limbs, more often than not, the actual strength of your muscles pulling your tendons taut can actually snap your bones.
Yay!
That. Oh. Okay.
Bone snap, go yay! It's the fun confetti of pain.
I love when my limbs are confetti.
So, shall we pick things back up? Is
I don't know if
everyone
everyone's back yet.
I think so.
Back.
The only person I haven't heard from... Well,
I haven't heard
I think
Danny or
I-
Failsy yet.
I thought I heard Danny. But I did not hear Failsy.
I'm gonna look at pictures of macaws in the meantime.
Okay, bye.
I'm not leaving, I'm just looking.
I meant me!
Keta, I don't think I'm gonna win an eating contest in Slee. Also, Keta, I can't believe I won by default in an eating contest in Slee.
You know Lee's
That
gonna
was-
challenge you to non-magical pie eating contest.
Oh yes.
That was not fair. I was not told it was magic. Magic is weird. I
But
did
Keta
not
also
expect
has
to eat a
pride.
part and suddenly be sitting in front of Dorinche.
But now it's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be a
was
pride
weird.
matter for Keta.
Although good calf work on maintaining stance.
I proud myself of my calf work. I could squat for hours. Look at this gay bird.
Oh, that's a good gay bird.
So fancy.
Him feathers do a transition.
One of Madame Ellie's many pets.
Could be.
So we're still missing our favorite pet, you know, the albino raven.
Yeah, he's around somewhere. You haven't seen him in a long time.
Charles. I re-listened to the episode where I named him, and then it's like, is that what you named him? Yeah, I named him Charles.
Yeah, he didn't have a name. She didn't care enough about names to give him one. He was just that bird.
that bird. But what about that bird? That is also that bird.
They all know who they are. When I say,
Yeah,
hey
they-
you, they know who I'm talking to.
See, no, the real test is if we got Madame Elway or Jamel into the eating contest to see how fast we'd lose to them.
Again, you saw, it's not necessarily... I mean, if it were a fair eating competition, then maybe. But it's not a fair eating competition.
But I also have more faith that either Jamel or Madame Elway have a better constitution than Keta or Brimstone does.
Oh yeah, death.
It's just Kenta and Brimstone got real lucky on their rolls.
Yeah. Elway doesn't actually have a super high constitution. I mean, even for what she is.
She's a
But
also burned.
yeah. Jamel, she do got good con.
Belzy is going to murder goats.
Why? You've become one of them now. Twice.
Really just imagine the tiniest of pygmy goats just up on the table, and then, just Kenta pops out of transformation. Transformation is the most fucking feral position. And she's got her face buried in the pie.
Just like, what happened?
What happened? I can't wait for Kenta to get back to the Emerald Plateau and tell all of her friends that she lasted that long in an eating contest. So that seems like something that the Orcs of the Emerald Plateau just would have as a celebration thing, is an eating contest.
Yeah, just eat food.
Food.
Consume. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I've actually been in an eating contest before.
I don't think I've
That
ever
was-
been in an eating contest before.
It wasn't for pie, it was for pizza.
I guess so. I have some pizza.
I made it about like 3 slices.
That doesn't sound like you did very well then.
Or they're big slices.
Oh, did I hear a Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I believe then all we are missing is a fails.
I'm here. I have a
Oh, is
list.
everyone... Has everyone
Yeah.
returned?
Myth. Myth.
He's either muted and doesn't realize it, or he isn't here.
He did say he was gonna step away.
I didn't know if he was actually just listening to something and or playing a video game in the background. As I know he has done before. I really enjoy this track.
Oh, I just realized I do not have Keta's other method of healing written down on her thing.
You should do that.
Yeah, because she has 2 methods of self-healing.
Healing light.
Healing light and healing hands.
Yay.
Number of hit points equal to my level, so that is 6.
Within the cooking video, you think someone's going to be melting white chocolate and it turns out to be butter. I've been bamboozled. White chocolate and cold butter look very similar to each other.
Keta thinking that she's gonna help Lee make a dessert. In reality, it's just she's helping. She's watching him melt butter. I've been bamboozled. I've been tricked.
I have been flabberwinked.
I've been hoodwinked. You lied to me. I didn't lie. Just didn't pay attention.
I didn't
Okay, fair.
lie. I just bamboozled you.
Okay, he's here.
There he is. He do a scram.
Let's do some game.
Alright, everyone back?
Yeah.
Yee.
Do I get a yee from Failsy?
Yes.
Okay. And
No, that's
Mythosia
just
muted him. Okay. You're muted, but I'm assuming you're back.
Ah,
Okay. Cool. So, I'm assuming the games you all wanted to play were the bumper elephants and the goblin shooting range.
That sounds good to
Yeah.
me.
All right.
And Da Vinci is going to drag Morrigan to the elephant.
All right.
I don't
Does
know if
Morrigan
that's a
consent to
for
being
that.
dragged?
I mean, if he grabs her fast enough, I don't know if she could really do anything about it.
Well, you'd say, "Come on, you got to enjoy some of the festivities yourself."
All right. If you consent to it, then Danny.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
He then starts dragging you towards these gigantic four-legged creatures
What the fuck
With-
is that thing?
with skin that I can only describe as looking more akin to dried leather than skin.
Does anybody here know what an elephant is?
Da Vinci?
Dravenche would know due to traveling around a lot. At least he has seen them before.
That might be it.
What about Brimstone?
The other people might be Brimstone and Failsy. Because Failsy probably has seen them because they do actually come from sections of the desert. And Brimstone might have seen them because there are war elephants.
He's
What
decked
the-
up a little more, armored, but
What the fuck is that weird horse?
It's called an
Uh,
elephant.
I don't think they're related.
It's called a Shamu. Failsy completely forgetting the actual name of it and just remembering the one elephant she's seen and what it was called.
Right. Elephants are, well, as you can see, very large creatures are often used for traveling, carrying large cargo, and they are incredibly strong, incredibly bulky, and can last and can travel for quite a while.
That's a weird horse.
That's a big dog.
Is it a single person rider or can we team
You all go up to the person in charge of this event. Seems to just be a sort of. They're currently garbed very stereotypically in almost like a safari outfit. Like complete with like the weird, like domed on the top and wide brimmed hat. And just looks at you all as you come near, just like, oh, you all interested in playing with a little bit of Umber Elephant, huh?
God damn it!
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm interested in maybe riding on the back of the strange dog.
Have you ever seen an elephant, dear?
No.
You'll have to forgive them. They're from out. This is their first time in the country.
Oh, don't worry, I forgive them. Listen. So these are a fine beast, great, strong, able to carry the heaviest of weights across the longest of reaches. Yes, I know his accent's all over the place. I'm not good with accents.
He started
But in-
Australian, now he's a little Scottish.
I'm not good with accents, shut up.
Hey man, it's potentially accurate.
Maybe. There's no Australia or Scotland. Well, technically there is a Scotland in this area,
Fair.
but there's no Australia.
And I pet it.
Yet.
Because I wasn't even intending to do I wasn't even intending to do like any kind of Aussie accent because I don't know how to do that. Anyways, but he looks at you as you say, "Can you pet it?" Just like, certainly. Come here, come here. He just sort of gestures for you to come close.
She is.
No.
He takes out a small whistle from one of his side pouches, blows into it, and you actually don't hear anything. But one of these large pachyderms suddenly turns and starts trotting towards the group. The closer it gets, the bigger you realize it is.
Cat gets very excited too. Oh no.
Holy
Oh my!
shit,
Oh my!
that thing's big.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yep. That's not even one of the biggest I've seen.
No, all these ones, they're little ones.
Little?
Aye.
They're little.
What would you say would be the largest elephant you've seen in comparison to this one?
He looks over, and each one of these ones is probably about 10 to 12 feet from base of trunk to base of foot, I'll say, to be more accurate, to the height of their back. The largest one I've seen probably stood at least 20 foot from ground to spine.
Oh, that's certainly bigger than the biggest one I've seen. It was only about 16 to 18.
They get bigger, apparently, but I've not seen too many much bigger than that.
How do you pet it?
He does another quick whistle, and this gigantic creature leans its head over the fence that is surrounding this area and just bends its head down to you. And its head is like easily the size of your body, if not bigger. But it's like the trunk like comes up and starts like doing that weird little graspy motion towards you.
I pet the trunk.
All right, it like wraps around your hand. And it's cold and slimy, kind of.
He grabbed me for peanut.
You have a big nose. It's nice. Oh, you're really pretty. I like you.
You want to feed him something?
I do.
All right. He walks over a couple of paces and grabs just a large pumpkin, like just like a gourd, not specifically like a pumpkin. It's like a big squash. Just grabs one of them and just hands it to you.
I'm gonna offer it up to
All
the
right.
elephant.
Just hold it up, both hands. He'll grab it.
Okay. She'll know. She's told.
Yeah. You just watch as the trunk just like reaches forward, just gently curls around the middle of the thing you're holding and just yoinks it out of your hand.
Oh.
Just you watch as it just gets brought up to the mouth and you hear just the wet crunching as it chews through it without any issue.
Oh. I wanna play the game on this one. They're very friendly. I like them.
Morgan,
Sounds
why don't
good
you
to
give
me.
it a try?
Yeah.
All right.
They're nifty.
All right. 2 riders per elephant. 1 to steer and then 1 to try to lasso your opponents. Who wants to step up?
Look, Brimstone, do you want to play?
I mean, I can.
Or do you want to sit out? Because I could go with Lee.
I'll
Speak,
participate.
I mean, the two you want to play, that's fine.
Morgan, would you care to play?
You dragged me over here and seemed to imply that I have to, so yeah.
Only if you want to.
You should at least pet one. They're pretty cool.
The trunk just starts reaching towards Morgan. The front of it looks like a pig's nose, Morgan, but it's like attached to like the long tube, which makes it really weird.
Just making the grasping notion. 1 banana. Give. Hungry.
She just like kind of like hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon. She just kind of puts her hand out. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the same thing. It just like the trunk just like wraps around your hand a little bit, and you feel like the wetness of it, the end of its nose, just like touch your hand. It's kind of gross, but it also kind of reminds you of like a dog's nose, just a lot bigger.
Huh.
All right then.
Big ears.
Indeed they do. So, which one of y'all be riding together? I can tell you two together, and he sort of just motions towards Morrigan and Dravince. You seem eager little lassie, but who are you riding with? Also, are you... He seems to be looking at Keta like, is this a child? Are any of you her legal guardian?
She just looks young, don't worry. She's 19.
You can never be too certain.
I'm 19.
I'll grant you that.
Alright, I'll trust you.
Well, Lee, do you want to ride? I know it's a big animal.
Wait. We'll try it.
Okay.
I've never ridden on a giant dog before.
It's an elephant. That's its name.
Elephant.
Yes.
He's
Can I
got the
call him-
spirit, I like him.
Can I call him Greg?
I'm gonna name him Bub.
Okay. Do you think you'd be better at lassoing or steering?
I have never lassoed before. Oh, I've
Neither
also
have I,
never
just
steered an elephant before. How do you
Well-
steer an elephant?
I mean, you driver. Well, you've driven the cart before.
That is a horse.
It is.
That is not a horse.
Correct. But I would assume the general idea is similar.
I guess I'll steer then?
Okay, I'll lasso. Hey,
Okay.
Which would you rather do, Dravince, lasso or steer?
If this is the game I'm thinking of, I think I'd probably be better with lassoing.
Fair enough.
Alrighty then. So, to explain quickly the rules of bumper elephants, the goal is to knock off the riders of the opponent's mounts. You do so by attempting to lasso them off the backs of their riders, or the person in charge of steering the elephant can ram their elephant into the other team's elephants, causing them to have to make a dexterity saving throw to remain standing. In order for someone to lasso them, you have to try to hit that person's AC, and essentially, if you are able to do so, you have to make a competing grappling check to attempt to pull them off. But it is a dexterity versus strength grappling check if you are able to hit them. The main point of the game is to try to lasso the other lassoers off, not specifically the drivers. But if you want to go for the drivers, that certainly makes it harder for the people with the lasso to do their job.
does it hurt the
Alrighty then.
elephants when they run into each other?
That's what they do to play with each other anyways.
Okay.
I don't know why he did become
Why
Scottish.
those
I'm just
tusks are
terrible with
sharp?
accents. Sorry, was that?
Provided those tusks aren't sharp.
We keep them dull for their safety, at least until they're a bit bigger. Then we're gonna be releasing them back into their habitats. But for now, having them play a bit, rough around, get used to some people. Considering we have people who go into the habitats, make sure everything stays safe.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be a long drop if I get lassoed.
Alrighty then. So, Respective teams are loaded onto the back of their creatures. Let's see how many other people are participating in this round. 2 other groups. So we've got the Ketali group. Ketali. We've got the Travince Morrigan group. So the Dramora. And the other 2 groups. Alrighty then. Alright. So, as you all are loaded onto the back of the elephants, you are given a quick course on how to do this. So, the people driving, you have to make an animal handling check every round to maintain the speed of your elephant. The more successive rounds that you go, maintaining the elephant's actual DC, which is a flat DC 10, you will essentially store up a charge. Every round you successfully store up a charge, and if you decide to spend that charge, causes whatever other team you hit with that charge to have to make a progressively more difficult DC dexterity saving throw to avoid falling off. Every charge you save up makes the DC raise by 5.
Jeez.
And it starts at 5.
Alright. Let's do this.
And I explained the lasso rules. It is essentially a dexterity with proficiency, because I'm nice, attack roll to attempt to grapple someone off of their elephant.
Alright.
Right. So, Morgan, you are driving the elephant for you in Dravince?
Mm-hmm.
But you're just given these, like, massive silk ropes to hold on to that's attached to a bridle in the elephant's mouth.
Okay.
And you're just, like, sitting directly behind its head, so you're, like... It's really awkward position to sit in, but it's also, like, weirdly empowering.
It'll be just like riding a horse.
She kind of looks back at him a bit panicked.
He's just got a shit-eating grin.
Lee looks weirdly appropriate in the situation. Just an orc commanding an elephant.
Especially with that kimono. Just this regal orc amongst his elephant ride.
What does Kent? What does that make Kent on his bag?
Tiny cotton candy courtesan.
A speck of pink in all the gray.
Tiny.
Alright. The other individuals you can see are an elf and a dwarf actually riding together.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Elves and dwarves don't hate each other in this world setting.
So it's
Fair.
Legolas and Gimli.
Well, they might just be doing it to fuck with people. I don't know.
Maybe. But no, it's just like an elven dwarf. You think it might be a couple. It's like looks like an older dwarf female and just you don't know how old elven male.
Yeah, and then an elven guy, age unknown.
Hard to tell, as they always are.
Unless they're really old or really young.
And the other individuals you see are kind of interesting. Looks like a Tingu and a human. Or not Tingu, a Kinku. Thinking too much about yokai recently.
Burb.
To be fair, Kinku, Tingu, pretty similar. But yeah, you see a Kinku and a human setting together. There's a fly in my nose. With the human being the driver and the Kinku being the lassoer. Notably, the human is currently nursing from a gourd. You don't know if they should be, but they're gonna drive drunk.
I'm drunk.
Driving an elephant drunk.
What could go
Be careful
wrong?
about that one. That one's gonna be the most dangerous one.
First bed.
It's said I'm dangerous. You're next.
Choo choo. What? Shit, what? I'm
Let's
fighting.
Alrighty, so we're gonna start off with the animal handling checks. The DC is 10.
Okie dokie. I'm supposed to be good at this.
Yeah, keep in mind, even if you don't meet the DC, Motogun, you're good.
Oh shit.
Even if you don't meet, even if you don't meet the DC, it doesn't mean you fail or anything. It just means that you don't get enough speed with your elephant to potentially do a charge. All right, roll for Lee. That should be good enough. He does not have a negative wisdom score.
Nope, he's got like an 11 or something.
That would have been.
You are exactly right. He has an 11.
No,
I was like, I'm pretty sure he's
driver,
flat.
It'd be funny. Just tiny pink baby on the back of an elephant. Like, I got this. I got this.
Tiny,
Alright.
tiny pink baby. War cry. Very small.
Alright, so the Elven Dwarf combo, they are starting to pick up speed now. They don't seem to be going... They seem to be trying to pick up a little bit of speed, because I just checked their roll again, and that was not the number I thought it was. I thought it was a 9, it was a 5, and it looks weird on my dice.
Oh, weird.
It's printed really weirdly. Well, the 5 was upside down, so my brain just went to full dyslexia when I saw the number, alright?
It's okay.
They start trying to pick up speed and can't quite get into any kind of ramming position. The same is going with the human and the Kinku. The human seems to be more preoccupied draining that gourd. And just starting to move forwards. Meanwhile, both Keta and Lee's elephant and Javinche and Morrigan's starts picking up some speed.
I pat our elephant like, you got this! I believe in you!
Unfortunately, you cannot inspire it.
I don't have inspiration.
Unfortunately. Alright, next would be the Lassoeer's turns. At this point, the whole group is close enough to each other where anyone could attempt to make an attack.
I'm gonna try to hit Da Vinci.
Immediately going for your friends. It's great. What about you, Javinche? You see
Da
Keta
Vinci-
gunning for you.
Da Vinci was originally looking towards the elf, but seeing Keta targeting, it was just like, what? And he's going to try to lasso Keta.
Alright, let's have some competing going on. Both of you make a dexterity-based attack roll.
So it does a dex check then?
Well, they have proficiency.
Yeah, I'm being nice and saying like this has proficiency.
Alright.
So, like, Javinche could use, like, one of his non-magical swords, or Keta could use...
I don't
Yeah.
have anything based off of dex.
That is a 14.
Do you have any dex skills that you're
No.
proficient in? Oh, well then...
No, it's
Figure it
mostly charisma.
God. Figure it out.
22.
Alright, what's your AC, Keta?
15.
Alright. Keep in mind, you're not wearing your armor right now.
I would have worn my armor. Ketcha's not leaving.
You're wearing a fancy robe, you said.
She would have had it on underneath.
That's not how armor works. Armor is a separate outfit.
No matter where she is, she's still not leaving with that armor on.
You didn't say that beforehand.
So, let me... Where's it down here? There's the button.
So it would just be 10 plus your dexterity modifier.
12.
Okay, so 12. So both of these are going to be hits.
Alright.
So both of you have to make a strength check. Both of you have to make a dex check opposed by your opponent's strength check. Because you both hit at the same time.
Does proficiency with acrobatics boosted?
No, per the rules of this, it's just a straight check against each other.
So I have to make a strength check to set his DC, so then he has to make a strength check to set my DC.
Yes.
Alright.
Yeah, so Da Vinci's strength check is a 4.
Ooh.
Alright, let's see that Keta strength check.
Alright.
This is why it was funny that you two were decided to be the lassoers. Also a 4. Okay, strong showing. Golf claps.
Can they fail the dex?
So let's see those dex checks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go figure.
You both
That's
simultaneously throw the lasso at each other, see it's both coming, you both have it fall around you, and simultaneously as you both pull them taut, you also both jump up, and you literally do like a fancy trick where you basically lasso dance around each other.
Come on, target someone else.
Fine.
That was cool though.
It was.
Alright then. Oh no. And you all hear in the background as the elf just goes, "Ah!" and just gets flung off to the side.
Ah!
As the Kinku just straight up like lassos them around the center of their body and yanks them straight off their mount.
And just
Wow!
wow.
And just looks towards the rest of you as this happens. Their elephant still is barely moving as the human is just like holding a finger up while drinking. Just like, give me a second.
Hold on. I'm not ready yet.
Alright. This starts the next round.
Animal handling checks.
Yes, this would be an animal handling check again. At this point, you all can decide to do a charge. If you would want to.
I don't think it's a good idea, Lee.
Alright, Morrigan builds up another point of charge. Let's see, Lee. Lee does not build up another point of charge. Let's see if they build up charge. Nope, he's still drinking. Hasn't moved the elephant an inch.
God, it's just a really full gourd.
It keeps going.
And the Kenku's just
I don't
like,
know what
"What?"
you're talking about. I'm just enjoying the view.
Yeah, and Kenku's probably just like, bro.
The dwarf, seeing the fact that their companion has been pulled off, turns the elephant towards them and takes it as a charge towards them,
Oh, you drunk bastard!
ramming them in the side. They both maintain balance, seemingly rather easily on the back of this elephant, though.
The drunk guy drives his
The
gourd.
drunk guy
Hey!
is a drunken monk.
Probably.
No, his whole body just wiggles, but he doesn't move position.
Yay! You almost spilled my drink.
No, lips never leave the gourd. He's still draining it. All right. Morrigan or Keta? I'm gonna ask Keta this because Lee is kind of waiting for your beck and call on this. Do either of you want to perform a charge?
I don't think it's a good idea. I think we should hold off on it.
You said it goes up by 5 every charge you get, right?
Yeah, so the base one that's basically not worth doing is 5. You now have 2 charges, so yours would be up to 15.
Oh.
But keep in mind, the check is just to accrue more speed.
Yeah, so if she did it now, she could spend both those points to charge at them, and they would have to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw to not be knocked off. Or you can keep building up your charge and essentially making your elephant Tokyo drift around the edge of the arena as you're trying to gather speed.
And then just...
Morgan will just look back to Dravinci and be like, you just want to take those... You want me to see if I can get those 2 out of this? Pointing to the human in Kenku.
I have an idea. Build up some more speed.
Alright!
Alrighty
So
then.
no charge taken this turn.
Gotcha. Alright, lassoing. Keta. I almost just vomited. I'm fine though.
Oh no.
I'm gonna try to aim for the drunkard.
Alright, you're gonna try to aim for the drunkard. So you're aiming for the rider, not the lassoer. Alright.
The rider, yes.
What about you, Da Vinci?
Da Vinci is going to hold from lassoing. Instead, he's going to just start breakdancing on the back of the elephant.
Okay. What? Is this to an
That is-
effect or just because he wants to show off?
To build
He
up
is
momentum.
readying up Gust for when Morrigan charges.
Gotcha. Holding action gust. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
I understand. So Da Vinci starts breakdancing. Oh, what a random thing to do, but the spectators are loving it.
That's
All right,
exactly the
Keta.
point. He's making a show.
Alright, Keta. You're gonna try gun for that drunken rider.
Yeah.
Alright, give us a lasso check.
19!
19! Would just hit.
Oh shit.
No.
You send a lasso around the drunken man, and you can just see him just go, his eyes suddenly just go, BONG! Open, as the lasso wraps around him.
Okay. This is
All
not gonna
right.
go great 'cause she's not very
Make
strong,
a strength
but,
check.
That's a 6.
You go to pull the lasso taut, and you just watch as his body just like limps forwards, and as you pull it taut, it just slides forwards off of him towards you. There's like he finally breaks his mouth from the gore and just points at you, just like, that was rude.
Maybe you should actually join the game instead of acting like a horse eating its feed.
Yeah, I don't take kindly to that kind of talk, little missy.
Well then come get me, bitch!
I'm not a dog. I'm a friend who's a dog, but I'm not a dog.
Did you say I have a friend who's a dog?
Yes.
Yes.
The Kinko on the back is going to look at you. The eyes narrow. Realistic bird face. As it's going to gun for you. I think a 19 hits you.
Yes.
Alrighty. That is going to be a total of 13 on the strength check.
I need to make a dex check.
Yep, dex check.
20.
Alrighty then. Again, another lasso flies out towards you, and you just manage to narrowly avoid it catching around your ankle and pulling you off balance. Tight game so far, tight game. All right. There is no longer a lassoer on the dwarven side. They have to just rely on bashing now. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and make another round of animal handling checks.
Okie dokie.
Lee unfortunately does not build another speed.
16?
Morrigan does though.
Yes.
Morrigan, you're building up so much speed. At this point, the human and Kinku actually start moving as well. And they're gunning for Keta. Oh, Dwarf manages to pick up a little bit more speed again as well. Alrighty. So, what is the desire for this turn now that speed has been dealt?
Fucking had to have Lee charge the Kenku and human.
Alright, you charge. So that is a DC 10. You expend your 1 charge point.
I might get lucky.
Success from the Kinku. Surprisingly enough, a failure from the human. As he just suddenly just goes, "Ah," and just slides off the side of the elephant as it gets rammed this time. He just sort of like crumples onto a pile on the ground. The Kinku does not seem that worried. Oh, alrighty then. Lassoing turn. Or
does
do you
Morrigan
all want
want
to
to
do a charge now? DC now 20. You've got the dwarf still mounted. You've got Keta and Lee mounted. And then you've got this single Kinku mounted.
Just looks back to Da Vinci. Well, what should we do?
Go for it.
Alright,
I will let
Morrigan, who are you
make the
gunning
choice
for?
on Who?
You both spoke at the same time. I couldn't understand either one of you.
Da Vinci.
I said I'll let you choose.
And I said, which one do you choose?
She's just gonna, get the elephant in position and just yell out, "Sorry, Kata!"
Ah, you bitch!
Yes.
All right, full speed charge, and I'm assuming you let your action run free, Da Vinci.
Yes.
All right, for this particular instance, since this is kind of a weird combat thing, I'm going to make that them having disadvantage on their roll. So I need 2 dexterity saving throws with disadvantage. DC 20.
They're both DC 20?
Yeah. Oh, Lee fails. Lee fails hard.
High five.
All right. Lee and yeah. No, you didn't need to roll 2.
Oh.
The second one
Yeah.
was Lee's roll.
Oh.
Is what I was saying.
Yeah.
So
Could I just do something out of spite then as Keta falls?
depends what it is.
Just use prestidigitation to make Da Vinci smell like ass.
Travince, do you consent to this? Because it is technically combative spellcasting.
Is there a way I can resist?
Not really. She sees you in the run up to hit you, so
Yeah.
I know, I've traveled with you long enough to know that what you do with the break
You know he do the windy thing.
dancing.
alright, so Travince, you suddenly smell like a fart.
It's like the worst, like, out at hot stables, nobody's mucked it kind of smell.
Just sniff. Well, someone's being petty.
It's just double finger guns as she just goes flying off the side of her elephant. You take
That's
like
double
1 point of
birds.
falling. I said finger
Double-
guns, didn't I? Yeah, I meant double
Yeah.
birds. Yes, her and Lee just go sailing off the side. It's a familiar sight from Lee. You've seen him fly many times, usually not via his own will. But you guys take like 1 point of falling damage.
I assume Lee's the one that lands first because he's heavier.
Yay. Alright then, that was a successful round.
Oh, we haven't even got to the Kenku.
Yeah. Well, suddenly bereft of a person to target, the Kinko is then going to turn his sights towards... The more dangerous one would be Travince and Morrigan. He's going to try to lasso Travince.
Oh no.
That's a natural 20.
Oh shit!
Alright, I'm going to give him advantage on his strength check to say that set the DC then.
Ooh boy.
That's pretty good. So that would make the strength DC for your dexterity saving throw to be
Saving throw or
23.
I don't
Check.
think-
Yeah, sorry. 23.
Oh,
Dang it, I was hoping it was saving throw. Okay.
Because I just remembered it's been checked
23.
every other. Oh!
oh fuck!
You get wrapped up real tight and you're just like, okay, I gotta... You actually have to like work to get out of this restraint and you just barely manage to before you are pulled off the side of the elephant. It's like the thing
Can I
you like
flavor
manage
this?
to grab... Yeah, go ahead.
The Dravince gets roped up, his arms completely bound. So he does a leap and spin in the air as the lasso is yanked off of him, just pulling him just far enough to have to grab onto the side of the elephant and pull himself up.
The Kinku seems impressed. Oh, I just dropped my dice! No, it's running away! Alrighty then. Alright. The dwarf just managed to build speed this turn, but did not get to do a ram or anything, so that brings us around to the next turn. More animal handling. More speed! Successful
You're on
speed.
fire tonight.
The dwarf rolls. Oh, the dwarf rolled a natural 20. The dwarf builds up 2 speed points. His natural 20s are always better. Alright. Seeing this, the dwarf is going to try to charge the Kinku because it doesn't like the Kinku because the Kinku pulled its friend off. Alright. Can you keep on your elephant, Kinku? Unfortunately, this is a dex check, which is not your big one. While the Kinku is looking impressed at Dravince, they suddenly get blindsided by the dwarf charging them and get knocked off. Alright, Dravince and Morrigan. It is now just you against a very perturbed dwarf. and it's a dwarven woman, beard in full glory. Dravincha, you still have a lassoing turn. Right now, the dwarven woman is only limited to charges.
Okay, Da Vinci is going to attempt to lasso.
Alrighty.
An 11.
Commoner stats, that would hit. Not wearing armor or
Okay,
anything.
and-
No big dex bonus. Dex bonus? Well, no big dick bonus either.
Okay, the strength check is going to be a 7.
He's good at hitting, but his strength, not up there.
That sounds
You're-
like all of us.
Honestly. Dravincha, you manage to lasso around the dwarf's arm, and it pulls taut, but you try to pull her off the elephant, and she doesn't move.
Oh no.
So you currently have her grappled and lassoed, flavor-wise, but she does not fall. She does not get pulled off the elephant.
Would you mind letting that go?
No!
She stares at you. I don't know if you would consent to her trying to pull you back.
Well, I mean, in character, no, but it's not like he has a choice.
Oh, let's see. If she rolls high enough, I'll let her. She didn't roll high enough. You managed to get your lasso back. She tries to pull you back, but you just managed to flick the lasso in such a way that it releases from her arm. And she has to keep her hands on the steering of the elephant. Alright. No lasso from her. More speed. See if she can build up more speed. She does not. She has no speed points. You all currently have one. Morgan, can you get you another?
I don't know. Let's see.
The answer is yes. Morgan is apparently very proficient at elephant riding. Didn't even know it.
Internally, the whole time, she's fucking screaming.
That's fair.
You're a natural at this!
Al-
Pretty good considering I've never ridden a horse.
Alright, Morgan, you currently have 2 speed points. That would be a DC 15 charge. You could go ahead and try hitting the dwarf or try to build up more speed for a potentially guaranteed hit.
Well, it worked well last time. She's just gonna hold off.
Alrighty then. Dravenche, do ye lasso?
Jay, seeing what Morgan has in store, he's going.
Is he gonna try to do a 1-2 again?
I want to do the 1-2, but then it might play their hand. So he's going to lasso.
Alright. Go ahead and make a dex attack. That hits?
Wait, that's flat dexterity. So I mean, it hits.
It would
anyway.
hit.
Okay, let's see what he can do with this.
Let's see. Better noodle
And,
arms. Better. You stay on the desk dice. Alrighty then. That is sitting on a corner again. That's weird. Alright, move the notepad out of the way so it doesn't happen again. Alright then. Unfortunately, you try to pull her off again. It's a much closer match this time. She just manages to struggle and keep herself on balance.
You go, Morgan. Finish it.
The dwarf builds up a speed point. Morgan, let's see, can you maintain speed?
I think.
Do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do over it. The bumpa bumpa.
You gonna do the bumper bumper?
Yeah.
Alright then, let's see if this dwarf holds on. Yeah, she does not. You nearly make her elephant tip over as you bumpa bumpa. It doesn't, it's fine. But it is a hearty hit, and she goes sailing off the side. Just with a very similar to the elf, just the ah!
It's just out in Dwarvish. She'll just call out, "Soy!"
It's all there! Alright, but you two are the last ones standing.
Whoa! We did it!
Just.
I have no idea if that picked up on microphone.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, just upon winning Morgan's just lots of nervous laughter. Just, holy fuck, how did I not get either one of us hurt?
You did great.
Alright, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.
Much slower
Wrangler
this time.
Yeah, the Wranglers brings out those whistles, and all of the elephants suddenly stop listening to the riders and just start moving towards him. All right, that was a pretty good run. You did well. Screw the accents. I'm just talking. Yeah, at this point, you all are being brought up and being like let down off the side of your elephant.
Before we're let down, Da Vinci just plops his butt behind Morrigan on the elephant, puts a hand on her shoulder. You did great. You're a star out there.
Thanks. Oh boy, I'm gonna need help getting down.
Yeah, there's like a small set of stairs that gets wheeled up to the side of the elephants. Same thing that you guys used to get up on them as you're being given to get down off of them.
Looks amazing. Da Vinci.
Yes.
No, I'm not complimenting you. It was a dirty move.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not my fault you have weak feet.
I'm going to make you smell like garbage for the rest of the day.
Please don't.
Dash rude.
And
Don't
Next
be a
contest.
spoil sport.
next contest, Da Vinci, though, kind of does the "I'm watching you."
Alright. Alright, you two. That was a wonderful showing. And to the winner go the spoils.
Yeah, what's the spoils?
He reaches down, and it's a thing very similar to like a cooler is set up next to him. Set up beside where the like the big container he has of all of the like the various vegetables and fruits to feed the elephants, or to let people feed the elephants, I should say. There's another smaller container next to that, and he reaches in and pulls out a small wooden case. Flips it open, and you see 5 potion vials stored inside.
Oh,
What's
these
this?
are right.
5 healing potions. This is what we were
Maybe.
given out to pass out to our goodly travelers and people of well merit for doing our game today.
Sorry, could you repeat that? My headphones chimed in just as you said what it was.
Yeah.
There's 5 health potions.
Ah. Well, Morgan, since you're the star, you're welcome to take them.
All right.
You did earn them. That was a pretty good hit.
I just did not expect to. She's just like full of nervous laughter and not knowing what to say about what just happened.
Clearly,
Yeah,
we
your
should
whole
probably-
body feels kind of wobbly right now.
Clearly, we should see about getting you an elephant to ride on. You're a natural at it.
That's not necessary. Please
I
no.
do think that I would have to agree with your friend.
What the fuck?
Is it guy?
Yeah, it's the drunk human. He just wobbly steps forward, just like, what you did there? Wonderful. I loved it.
How drunk are you?
Yeah, I'm about 7 drunk.
I understand.
7 out of 10.
Oh, you think stops at 10.
More like 30.
Yeah. His face just like completely contorts every time he speaks.
Yeah.
Sorry
But
about knocking you off.
no, it's fine. It's all in the spirit of the game. I have to say though, good show. Good show.
Can I insight him to see if he's actually drunk?
Yeah, I kind of would like to do the
Sure.
same.
Something
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
this doesn't feel right. 13.
6.
For backstory reasons, I'm actually gonna give Morgan advantage on this one.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's reason for Morgan to know what someone looks like when they're drunk.
You know what? Fair.
Both of you, you get the sense, or Keta, you get the sense that, yeah, he's probably drunk, maybe playing it up a little bit, but he's probably drunk. Morgan, maybe there's some amount of drunkenness there, but this is just someone who knows how to look drunk.
So in actuality, he's probably buzzed and playing it the hell up.
You get that sense.
You know, buddy, I think you should probably go get some water.
There's like... He like looks at his gourd. There's water in this.
No. And she's just gonna put her hand.
Pops a cork on top of it.
I think it'd be best if you go get some water and maybe some food.
I'll do that when I've got another game to play. I want to walk around a little more. I'm ready to have some more fun. I don't get to have enough fun. He's like, and it's like scrunching into his neck.
Keta, let him enjoy himself.
Don't judge the festival goers. If they're not harming anyone, let them be.
Yeah.
You,
It's just...
since Keta and Morgan, you are paying more attention to him. I'd also like for you to make perception checks.
I don't trust this dude with an inch of how far
Okay.
I throw him.
11.
16.
It's kind of odd, but you do notice that when he's like making like those really exaggerated facial expressions, he seems to have fangs. Like snake fangs. But they almost seem to fold back into his mouth whenever he's not like super exaggerating his expressions.
Is it... Okay, here's a weird question. Are they like this? Because we've seen you on T.
Yuan Ti don't lose their fangs no matter what happens. They always have them.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, because we've seen the variety of Yuan Ti at the Buddhist temple. She's just gonna...
Alright then. Well, you all obviously want to continue doing your thing. It was good to play with ya.
Yes, fun game, fun game.
Which game are you heading to next?
His like upper lip curls upwards as he seems to be thinking really hard. It was one where you hit a rock with a hammer. I think I'm gonna go do that one.
Hi,
Ah, yes,
Strikers.
that one's over there.
We're heading to another one. Have fun.
Alright then. You kids have fun. He just stumbles off. The Kinku just sort of like looks at you all and just nods and continues following after him.
When he's out of your range, Cat is gonna look over at Marta and go, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Like, I saw it."
No.
Just kind of like motions towards the mouth.
Hmm?
No, but he was certainly playing up just being buzzed for the fun of it, I think.
Yeah, he had fangs that, that slide back when he talked.
Huh.
Oh, must be a yokai then.
How the...
Sorry, right. Some yokai, once they've developed or once they've reached a certain age and developed enough power, end up becoming more civilized and can adopt a more less disconcerting form.
I mean, he did mention he had a friend who's a dog? Maybe?
Yeah, could be it. Could be one of the
I mean-
various Inu yokai.
I mean, to be fair, you can also just be friends with the dog. Dogs are friends. Those
That
big
is true.
dogs are friendly. And he just points
Those
at the elephants.
Honey, those are elephants.
Yeah. Is it not a type of dog?
No.
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 Oh.
Do we want to go shoot a
Very
goblin?
different. So,
Yeah.
but let us continue the festivities.
Okay. Alright. So, I don't know if we want to keep going much longer.
I don't know what else you have planned for tonight.
I don't, but I'm worried about Myth.
It's fine.
Alright, we're gonna do the shooting minigame, and that's what we'll call it for the night then.
Yeah.
Because at this point in game, it's also getting kind of later in the day. It'd be time to do after this game. It would be time to go around and actually enjoy the eateries around the festival, then probably call it a night after some drinking, or just general merriment. Interestingly enough, you all have noticed this. No fee to enter any of these contests, and yet you're getting rewards.
Is that something that would be off-putting to Dervenche?
No. That's
You just
actually
roll
pretty
with it.
normal here. Like, these contests are kind of held by the city, and they're not meant to, like, gather money. They're just meant to... They're meant purely for merriment. And if you wish to give money to specific sites as donations, that is up to you. But these events are held for the sake of merriment. But yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. The next challenge that caught your all's eye was the Goblin Shooting Range. You see a very... another very stereotypically dressed individual, but this one wearing the very stereotypical skin-tight Robin Hood outfit.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of leg.
It is a lot of leg. This one is unlike the last two. One is actually a woman running this stand, though.
Ooh,
Seems
that's
to
a
be
lot
an
of
actually.
leg.
It seems to be an older elven woman. Just looks at you all as you approach. Just, oh, hello.
Hi.
Greeting.
Greetings, greetings. Are you all perhaps interested in trying a game of skill?
Yeah.
All right then.
Well, we do have a resident sharpshooter on our hands.
Oh, I'd be most interested to see how it is you perform then.
I guess.
Alrighty then. And she gestures to a selection of bows and arrows, both short bows and long bows.
Is there
Yeah,
much
that.
in stat with them?
Hmm?
Is there much difference with stats?
Higher range.
The range and such isn't really going to matter in this particular instance, but some people would be like gnomes or smaller races that can't use a longbow, or like children who can't use a longbow, so that they're provided short bows that they can use.
Hi, my name's Keta.
You could use a longbow.
It'd be very uncomfortable.
True.
There is technically nothing stopping Keta from using a longbow except for RP.
And proficiency.
I mean, you
Fair.
can still use it. You're just not great with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely gonna take that longbow though.
Yes.
That's more what I'm used to.
Alright then, so if you look ahead of you, they're not currently moving, but they will be whenever you go to take your shots. We have 3 range increments here, and she just sort of gestures. The small green goblins at the front of the pack are all worth 1 point. A little bit further back, we have the my brain just blanked out. We have the hobgoblins. Those are worth 2 points if you hit those. And all the way at the back there, we have our lovely bugbears who are going to be crawling across the very back end of the field, not with a lot of area to hit them. If you can manage to hit those, they're 3 points.
They're also very good at hiding.
Yes, they are. And if you see it going across the very back field, and she actually quickly turns a wheel next to her, and you see one of them go across the field. Just this small wisp that swings across the field. And if you can hit the wisp anytime it goes across, that is worth 5 points.
Are these gonna hurt the goblins?
They're cutouts.
They're dolls, dear.
Sorry, my brain got a little scattered when I got knocked off an elephant.
That can happen to you.
There's one, I just go in the other way, just smack their head. I'm good.
Alrighty then. And the more points you get, the more reward you can get at the end.
We have 6
If you
attempts?
do... Yes, there are 6 arrows per quiver. If you manage to hit the wisp, that is a special reward. So, how this will work is that to hit a goblin, the AC for a goblin is 10. To hit a hobgoblin, the AC for that is 15. To hit a bugbear, the AC for that is 18. And to hit a wisp, the AC for that is 22.
Alright.
So Rinjit will join the line, picking up the short bow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kitten's got herself a short bow.
Those will take up a short bow.
Alrighty then, so
Monodin, do you want to join us?
Yeah, sure, why not?
You
so
look
everyone's
like you
taking a
prepare
position
food,
online.
I'm trying to remember which one takes dex and which one takes strength.
They both take dex.
Uh.
There is a oversized longbow you can get that can use strength, but they don't seem to be present here.
They
You
don't
would
have
be
the proper
proficient.
Yumi.
You would be proficient with both because I could.
Yeah, she will actually grab a longbow.
I've got a button here for light crossbow. I'm pretty sure it's the same stats as a bow.
It would be the same shooting stats as a bow, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So, how this is going to work is you have to declare which range increment you're going to try to shoot for, and that will be the DC for your check. So, declare, then make your roll. If you hit it, you get those points. So let me quickly set up a tally for everyone real quick. Brimstone, Keta, Morgan, Trovince, Failsy. I'm not leaving anyone out, am I?
No?
I didn't think so. My brain shut down for a second.
I assume Lee's not going to join us.
Lee doesn't want to play this one.
I'm not good with that.
He got thrown off an elephant in the last one, and he got teleported in the other one. He's not sure if there's not some weird thing planned to happen here.
Yeah.
He made it longer in the elephant game than he did with the pie eating.
Yeah, with the pie eating one, he got screwed over. Just like, hum.
If it was a cooking contest, maybe.
Rosie is not happy with the pie eating one either.
Hey, look at the bright side. Your stomach didn't explode. You just got turned into a goat twice.
Rosie doesn't have a stomach.
That is not true.
Possibly.
You have a stomach. Alright.
It's amorphous.
You have organs.
It's just filled with
You,
ooze.
Alrighty then. So, as you all step up to the line, luckily there are only 5 of you because there are only 5 shooting positions. Each one of your bows has a different color painted at both the ends, and the arrows fletching is all in different colors, so you can actually tell the difference between them all if they hit. So,
Okay.
you all take up position on line, and I guess we'll just go down the line in declaring shots.
So the Discord order?
Yeah, Discord order, because that's how we usually do things.
Okay.
So, Andy, which range increment is Keta going to try to shoot at?
the hobgoblin is 15?
Yeah, it's 10, 15, 18, and 22, but I will tell you if the wisp appears.
Alright, Keta's going to... She's going to try for a hobgoblin.
Alrighty then. As you all take a position on the line, the elven woman driving the area starts turning a crank off to the side, and all of the little figurines and false dolls of these creatures start wobbling and moving across the arena.
Alright, should I roll my hit?
Yep, your number you're looking to hit is a 15.
Damn it.
Alright. Keta tried to hit for a hobgoblin on this occasion, but missed. Unfortunately, your arrow goes sailing past it and does not hit anything. Alright. Dravince.
He's going to aim for a bugbear.
Ooh, big spender.
Damn it!
Ooh.
Dravince shoots for a bugbear, and it gets stuck in one of the pieces of fake foliage that is also going across there that the bugbears are sort of like hiding behind. Just manages to miss. Alright. Morgan.
Because I like to imagine, like, even with the whole hex, she has used long before, so just, like, to get used to it again, she's just gonna aim for a goblin just to, see if she remembers how to use a bow.
Fair enough.
I have a dagger on my sheet. Is it okay if I use that for the roll?
Yeah, that should work.
Okay.
Same modifier.
15. That is a hit. Morgan is the first to secure a hit. It is only against a goblin, but it is the first hit.
It's a point on the board.
Yes. Alright. Failsy.
Bowser's going for a bugbear.
Alright, Failsy's going for a bugbear.
Yoink.
Oh,
Just miss.
barely.
Same thing with Dravince. You fire and it hit. You fire and it misses. I'm not gonna get in that train. You fire at the bugbear and it gets stuck in a piece of the false foliage instead of hitting the creature. Alrighty then. Go on. Sorry.
No, it's just... Okay, Brimstone, what you hitting?
We'll start with a hobgoblin.
All right, starting with a hobgoblin.
Of course.
Yep. Yep.
All right, I have to roll a probability to see what happens with that one.
Fucking explodes.
Hard sharpshooter,
Oh my
everybody.
goodness.
Arrow gets jammed straight through the neck, hits the mechanism, and shuts down half the game. That entire line.
I rolled another natural 20 for the probability of this.
Oh god.
So, what ends up happening is that Brimstone, you line up your shot, fire, and it goes through one of the hobgoblins and embeds into a bugbear, which technically nets Brimstone 5 points for this round.
Nice.
Miss, hit, almost hit, and then just. Oh. So that's how we're playing.
Yeah, when you do that, the elf cranking the wheel just goes, like, the eyes like shoot open a little bit, just like, oh. Doesn't miss a beat with the cranking, but looks impressed.
He's a professional.
All right, second round of arrows drawn. Keta, you're up to bat first.
She's gonna be a little less bold. She's gonna just try to hit for a normal goblin.
All right, going for a gub gub. All right, let's see if you get something cool happening again. This one's less cool.
Imagine
All right,
it's
Just
less-
splits
unfortunately-
half the arrow and it hits another goblin.
No, unfortunately, it didn't roll high enough for something like that to happen.
Okay, fair.
It just ends up being that you managed to hit one of the goblins like directly into its eye, as opposed to just like hitting the center of the mass of the goblin.
Crimson! Crimson!
No, so.
I'm getting better.
Just head pat.
All right, I don't know how you head pat her from all the way across the table, but fair.
Magic.
They're standing at literal opposite ends of the shooting range.
Lee, head pat.
Pat, pat, pat. All right, Da Vinci.
He's going to fire at a hobgoblin.
All right,
18.
that's a hit. All right, you fire through and hit clean this time. Been a little bit since you've used a bow yourself, so getting
Yeah.
into the groove of it. All right, next would be Morgam.
Yeet. I'm feeling a little more comfortable with this, and she's just playing for fun. She's like, alright, I'll try for a hobgoblin then.
Alrighty,
Ooh.
roll for this one.
Slap your hand with the string.
Yeah, you go to release this arrow and it catches slightly. The arrow flings forward onto the ground, not quite getting to the target, and you get a slap on your forearm from the bowstring. It's not enough to do damage, but it stings
enough-
like the dickens.
And she just takes a step back, swearing and thwopping her hand around to make the sting go away.
Yeah,
Ah, cut
Yeah,
up
just
son of a bitch!
yeah. Everyone
mean-
just hears the very distinct.
Oh no.
Is that loud slap?
I'm reminded of seeing a short video where a woman was shooting a longbow and the string went around her boob.
Oh!
Ah!
Thankfully, this was forearm and not titty.
It didn't rip or anything. It just made her chest sore.
This is
Still.
why large-chested archers have to wear padding that binds their breasts down slightly. You don't want that to happen.
No.
Full body draw, bad time. Full body draw straight to the titty, bad time.
Mm.
Anyway, next person.
Yeah. Alright, Failsy.
Still going for bugbears.
Alright, Failsy's still going big.
You said I will not give up on this mission. What are you talking about?
Alright, Failsy. You try again. It's almost the exact same thing that happens. You want that bugbear. You want it bad. But as you pull back and fire this time, it just goes right past one of their heads. Alright, Brimstone, you gonna show everyone up again?
It's a question. Is the bugbear AC calculated with, like, cover, or is that just... My sharpshooter doesn't affect that at all?
I didn't consider that because, yes, it is calculated with cover. That's why their AC is higher than the hobgoblins.
Okay.
So I guess technically if we really want to meta this, the bugbear have the same AC as the hobgoblins for you.
Okay. That feels a little skewed in my favor, so I'll still shoot at the 18.
Okay.
I will try.
I mean, you have a +8 to hit either way.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going for bugbear.
Yep.
All right, that is a hit. Brimstone, another shot, another perfectly just right into the head of the target.
I picture it's the same one too.
Yeah, you're just flexing now, where you just hit it right beside the other arrow. You're like, oh, I was gonna try to split it, but could be better.
Okay. Third round.
Third round. The wisp swings by.
Cat is not brave enough to hit the wisp.
All right, Keta, what are you aiming at?
She's gonna try to be a little brave and hit a hobgoblin.
All right. Keta, the little brave who could.
Again?
All right. Still not quite high enough to get you more than the standard amount of points, but it's unfortunate. If it were higher on this dice, I would have given you it, but unfortunately. You fire and just graze past one of the goblins and manage to perfectly nail a hobgoblin right in the middle of its forehead. You're just like, oh.
The happy wiggles.
You do the happy wiggles, but it kind of in the back of your head, just like, oh, I should have tried for the wisp. That was a good shot.
It's not always going to be a good shot either. I know my limits. I can do it.
Alright. Travince.
For the wisp.
Going for the wisp? You hit the wisp.
Oh!
There you go.
Alright.
Got that one.
You take a second, wait for it to hit like the very low point of its like pendulum swing, aim just ahead of it and fire, and actually manage to hit. Alrighty then. Morgan.
Once the wisp is hit, is it out of the game?
No, it's still swinging. It's still swinging across. Everyone can take a shot at it.
Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? I'll give it a go. Going for the wisp. Ah!
Unfortunate. It's a big cost, or it's a big reward, but it's a high risk. You go to fire, and unfortunately, you fired like just a second after Da Vinci, so the target was wobbling a little bit, so your arrow just goes wide.
Oh well.
All right, Failsy.
Let's go for the wisp.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Failsy finally gets some point.
Right.
Failsy, you're fed up of constantly just missing. You take aim and fire and hit. That target's got a lot more of a wobble on it now. Because I know you all are pretty much firing at the same time, but I'm still imagining it going like in a sequence.
Right.
But you actually do manage to hit it, Failsy. Alright. Brimstone?
We're gonna try for the wisp.
Yeah. It's got some wobble to it. It definitely doesn't
Yeah.
look like a safe target, but you think you can do it.
Maybe. Nah.
Unfortunate. Yeah, your first
Yeah.
shot missed. You fire wide. Pretty much, you let everyone else have their turn at it. You go to fire, and unfortunately, it is turned sideways by the time you go to shoot it.
Yeah, I was like, can I use my grit for that? But no, it does specifically call it firearm attack.
I mean,
It's also past the point. I
Fair
have to
enough.
declare that before I make the attack.
fair enough. All right, unfortunate.
It's fine.
Your first missed shot.
It's fine.
Alrighty then. The completion of that round. Keta, it's back around to you.
Alright. She's gonna hit for a normal gobbo.
Gobble shot.
Oh.
You pull back and shoot, and unfortunately, it lands in the sand in front of the gobbos.
She just sticks her tongue out like,
D. All right, Javinche, what you going for?
He's gonna go for a bugbear.
Boog. That's a hit. All right, Javinche. You are doing good. You managed to hit the bugbear that time. You missed it the first time. You hit it this time.
Woo!
The cover did not dissuade you this time. All right, Morrigan.
Gonna try for a hobgoblin again.
Alrighty. That hits.
Woohoo!
Alrighty then. You pull back, take a bit more careful aim this time, and you actually manage to hit one of the hobgoblins square in the center of mass.
Nice.
Alright, Failsy.
Bugbear must die.
Alright. Try for Bugbear. Bugbear no go. Bugbear no go. So far you've only hit the hardest to hit target, and nothing else. You're like, yeah, I hit the wisp. I can do this. You fire, and you hit the foliage again.
God damn it!
This is the bloody wild magic lore all over again. I can barely hit any smacks Lee in the back of the head, but I can beam a magic crystal 200 meters away.
Listen, Failsy's good when it counts. Alright, Brimstone.
I'll try for bugbear again.
Bugbear.
Bugbear. Ah.
Oh, actually just a miss for you.
Yeah.
It moved a little bit faster than you were expecting it to that time. Alright. Next round. Keta.
discard. Ah!
Alright, Discord.
Keta's gonna go for a goblin.
Alright.
13! I hit it!
Yeah! You hit that goblin. You beat it right in the chest.
Hey, I hit it!
Solid hit. Alright, Travince.
He's going to go risky again with going for the bugbear.
Alright. Just a
Darn it.
miss. You pull back and fire. You have the confidence of your previous bugbear strike, but unfortunately, the foliage strikes again. It feels like every time you're about to hit the bugbear, the foliage is like, whoop, and catches the arrow. You're not sure if that's actually what's happening, but man, do you feel like it. Alright, Mulligan.
I'm gonna stick with going for a hobgoblin again.
Alrighty.
Damn it! I could have gone for a bugbear. Oh well.
Yeah, right.
It happens. You aim carefully and fire, and another square and solid hit onto the chest of a hobgoblin. You get in the groove of this? Failsy. Do you continue going for bugbears?
Bugbear must die!
Okay.
Nope.
Look, she's getting angry.
You're getting angry, Failsy.
She's doing the Lego Batman thing and is just pegging hundreds of hours at this thing now.
Yes, you do. And yes, don't worry, I'm keeping track of everyone's points.
I was more just for myself because I was keeping track in my head. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah, Failsy, you just like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this! And you fire, and it's impressive. You manage to hit one of your other arrows, but it's still in the foliage. It like takes a chip out of the side of one of your other arrows. Alright, Brimstone.
Would you allow me to use my grit on this? Or no?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Other
yeah,
people have tried to cheat at party games already.
It's not
But then gotten
cheating.
turned in. It's not. It's using your natural born talents to your advantage.
Cheating would
And
be
then
if
getting turned into a goat.
Cheating would be if I used the pistol.
Just whips out a pistol. Boom, 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 boom. I
Done.
win.
Yeah, I'll Deadeye shot for a bugbear.
Alright, Deadeye shot bugbear.
I didn't need it.
You didn't need it, no.
That's fine.
Alright. You actually decide, maybe I should be a little serious. You take a breath and steady your aim, and just
Fuck the
instantly
foliage.
hit.
Punch the foliage.
No, it's like, you don't even you don't go through the foliage like just pure force. You hit like a tiny crack between two pieces of foliage and hit a bugbear.
It's a crack that Failsy made with her arrows.
You're just
Yeah.
showing off.
Yeah. She's like two on one piece, two on the other, and just right through.
Alrighty then. The wisp swings by again, but it is swinging unstably this time. Any shots against it will be at disadvantage because it did not fully get stabilized from being hit twice before.
Ooh.
I would like to try to hit not the bugbear, but a hobgoblin.
Alright. Alright, let's see how badly Kenneth gets thwapped. Alright, it's just a thwap. That was real good that was a 13 and not a 1.
Lee, can you hold my hand, please? It hurts.
Grimp.
I'm bitter.
Yeah, you just get a hearty thwap to your wrist. Alright,
Ow.
Dravinche.
No, he is going to try going for the wisp. Because he's a
Alright,
big
trying
player.
for the wisp even though it's a disadvantage.
Yep. 23.
Oh, you
Jesus
still managed to
Christ.
hit it though. You and your naturally dexterous air.
Yeah. He's cheating.
Naturally. But you managed to hit it again. A solid hit as it is. Alright. Morgan.
Well, they're busy focusing on trying to get the wisp and stuff. Morgan's actually gonna try to go for a bugbear this time.
Alrighty. You hit! It's a good thing you didn't go for the wisp, because that would have been one shy.
Well, that would have been that one.
Oh
It
yeah,
would've
that's
been
right.
that one.
My brain no goo. My brain no goo. Also still
Yes.
good then.
It's fine.
Hey, I declared I was going for bugbear.
Yeah. You go for bugbear and you hit that bugbear. You hit that bugbear good.
Yee.
Alright. Fiddlesy.
That bugbear is not winning.
Hey, there you go.
You finally hit the bugbear!
Haha, first try.
First try. It could not have worked out better than that.
Yeah, that's fitting for Failsy though.
Alright, Brimstone.
I guess grit point for a normal shot on the wisp.
Alrighty.
Ow.
Alright. Unfortunately, you go to fire at it, and because of Dravinche actually managing to hit it, it is completely out of position. And you're like, even taking a breath and taking a shot at it, by the time you go to make your shot, it is behind too much cover. It just it hits against a piece of the foliage.
I think that is a shot then.
Alright, that is all 6 of all of your shots.
Dravinche won.
Yeah, I know.
But I think we each individually get prizes based on the points we got.
We
Yeah.
do.
I'm tallying now.
Brimstone, I'm getting better with the bow. I'm remembering what you taught me. I got slapped though. That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should have fucking worn my greaves if I'd known I was gonna do that today. Oh, fuck.
Is this what it was like when Grandpa was training you?
No.
I can't imagine how bad it was when you were training. I seen you shoot things from like a really far distance.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright
how-
then.
Still should have hit some of those shots though.
Well, no fault of it, son. No fault of it. Something like this isn't quite what a professional would be expecting. But you still did very well. Your first shot was amazing.
He's super talented.
Alright, and she's got like this little tally card next to her that she was marking on. Alright, so it looks like you, little dear, you earned a total of 4 points. Which qualifies you for, and she reaches behind her stand, one of these, and pulls out a shiny red candied apple.
Cat is all for it.
Right. Next would be the 2 madams here. Both of you scored 8 points.
Huh.
Which means that you also get a candied apple. And your choice of... And she just sets out beside her 3 small bags. Unmarked.
Ooh, mystery bag.
You want to pick your mystery bag first, Felzy?
I'll take the one on the left since I can't seem to fire straight.
Fair enough. Alrighty then. She hands you the one on the left.
Yeah, I'll take the middle one. Why not?
Alrighty. And she hands you that one.
Surprisingly, one of the few sweets Morgan really, really does enjoy is candied apples, so she ain't sharing that.
Oh, it's almost like it's a fair. Well, you all get a candied apple. You all got the minimum threshold of points, which was 1.
Fair.
Woo!
Which, to be fair, if Felzy... Felzy almost didn't. If she'd only gone for bugbears and gotten unlucky at that last one, she would have not gotten any points.
No, she hit the wisp.
That's why I'm saying if she had kept going for bugbears.
Oh, fair.
She just really wanted them bugbears dead. And the wisps come up afterwards. Alright.
It's very stinky.
Travince and Brimstone, you two are also presented with a candied apple. But because your thresholds pushed over 10 points, with Brimstone earning a total of 11 points and Travince earning a total of 15 points, you both get presented with 2 small cases.
Oh.
Oh, just a little bit of fun, little bit of play around. Oh, and because... I suppose I have to give this to 3 of you. Since the stipulation for this was hitting 5 points in a single shot on any of your rounds...
Oh.
Because that's technically how it is worded in the rules, is if you hit 5 points in a single shot, which is only supposed to be possible from hitting a wisp. But you managed to do it without hitting a wisp.
Sharpshooter.
Yay. She is also going to pull out 3 tokens and hand them 1 to each of you.
So, myself, Failsy, and Javincher.
Yep.
How does Javincher technically get 2 because he hit the wisp twice?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, that's fair.
Every person is only eligible to get 1.
That's fire.
What's the token used for?
Actually, you will hear here?
What is the token used for?
I understood her. This token is used to enter you into a drawing we're having tomorrow.
Huh.
Oh, that's interesting. Has it been already announced what will be the reward for the drawing?
Not yet. It's going to be announced tomorrow during the drawing. You are able to put your coin in for whatever respective drawing you would like to into, and it's essentially a lottery.
Enough.
I am fairly certain that there are going to be 3 items put forward, though.
Well, let's see if my luck holds out, because I swear that was not luck. Or that was not skill, that was luck.
Yeah, it was. Well, you got a steady hand enough. You make jewelry for a living.
Alright. Do you all open the packages you were given?
Yeah.
Morgan's opening hers for sure too, because mystery
Alright.
bag.
Yeah. Morgan and Failsy, your mystery bags both contain a small gemstone.
Ooh.
Morgan's, yours contains a small 25 gold piece of opal, which is not a super clean opal, but it is still fairly pretty, has some nice sparkles in it. And Failsy, yours has a uncut, but still also fairly pretty piece of sapphire, also worth 25 gold pieces.
Mm.
And do the boys open their boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done with my apple already. That was fast.
Brimstone just
Yeah.
gives her his.
Hee.
Katy gets another candy red apple. All right, then you
No.
both open. You both open up your boxes, and you see a potion vial contained within.
Huh.
Has a sort of silvery blue liquid on the inside.
Oh, what are these?
Let us see. And she looks on the inside as well. Oh, fun ones, fun ones. Now, don't go using these to cheat on one of the other games here. but these are potions of colossal strength.
Huh.
Which, let me see which exact potions these were, because I have to roll to see what level of potion they are.
Potions of colossal.
It's just a catch-all term for all forms of giant strength potions.
Yeah. Storm giant somehow.
These are really good candied apples.
Did you already finish eating the other one?
Probably.
She's really hungry.
Alright. Gonna roll a d6 to see which each one of them are. This
This
is
is a girl who
for...
lives off of sweets.
Fair enough. Alright, so Dravinche, yours is a potion of stone giant strength.
Ooh. Nice.
23 for 1 hour.
Ois.
Oh my goodness.
No.
And
Oh.
Brimstone, yours is a potion of storm giant strength.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why
no.
was this in a drawing for a random chance box when that's a legendary tier item? We don't need to discuss that.
Potion of storm giant strength property. Much strumph.
And to be fair, the only person here who would really have a concept of what a storm giant is would probably be Brimstone.
That's terrifying
Like-
to think about.
Like, outside... Well, you've probably seen the descendant of one, or people who look like the descendants of one, in the forms of the two gods of war.
Oh, yeah,
Jalun and Jalin.
the boreal
Yeah.
gods.
It-
Just
But yes. You all walk away like kings.
fuck yeah.
I want to eat some soup.
Let's go get you some soup.
Brimstone puts in an order for a Mako cannon.
Oh my
Just the
Ash,
just the bloodborne cannon.
I know you didn't
I know
intend this, but you basically give Morrigan her birthstone in the real world.
I actually think I didn't intend it. Anyways.
Fair enough.
Think about
They're really
something.
good candy apples.
Alrighty then. She hands you another one.
Did you candy them yourself? You're really good at this.
My father does, but
He's really good.
he has a stand over in the market setup.
Yeah. You
Well, I know
you
where we're
just-
going next.
get the gas, the hard eyes. And just, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Lee is being pulled along.
Somehow.
Not that he is refusing.
Morgan doing her best
Oh,
to
okay.
eat this without getting herself completely sticky. Wonder if there's candies like what I saw at these kind of festivals when I was a kid. I remember there was a candy maker who
might be.
came. I remember there was a candy maker who moved from the Blossom Kingdom who would make stuff at Bog Crust. I might recognize a few things.
It is possible.
My favorite's caramel. It's really good.
Well, let's take some time to tour around the vendors and see.
Alrighty then. So, we end off tonight with you all essentially going off to peruse the nightlife food section of the festival, which, as we all know, is the most enjoyable part of all festivals. Seeing
If I
all
find
of
that-
the food.
If I find that drunk dude again, I want to share a drink with him.
You may do, but not today. But yes, you all continue the night of merriment, enjoying many of foods. We can figure out how much that ends up costing later. but it's not going to be terribly much. But yes, that is where we're going to end off for tonight, as you all just have a nice night of merriment.
So the thing I thought would happen did not. That's good.
And to end off for tonight, Javinche,
Yes.
you feel the distinct tick as the clock strikes midnight of your watch
shit.
ticking over to a new hour. 24 hours remain. And that's where we end for tonight.
Yay!
You guys like this funky jazz? Let's wrap up.
Yeah.
So what's gonna be your new character, Armored?
What do you mean? Dravenche's not gonna die. He's just gonna lose all rhythm.
So
It's
I hope
specifically.
go on.
The prophecy is specifically, you will lose something you aren't ready to lose. What could that be? I don't fucking know.
His rhythm.
Your what?
Javinche has a lot of things he's not ready to lose.
Your friend?
His memories. His shiny Primum
All right.
jeweler's kit.
Speculation on that front could be done after session. I hope everyone enjoyed my party games I built.
Yee.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're a little on the fly and a little wild, but I did have rule sets for all of them,
Fair enough.
so that was fun.
Yee.
I'll tell you all what all of the potential pie effects were after we end tonight, but there's some fun things that could have happened.
Yee.
I kind of wanted us to do the
Ooh.
straight game just to see us dominate with Lee, LA, and Jamel.
I exploded.
The strength game was legitimately the easiest one.
Well, yeah, it's just like strength rolls. Bonk.
Yeah.
I did put in an offer that if you guys decided to chug some potions to dominate the last game, I was gonna ask if just this white-haired girl is just sitting on the very end of the line of people smacking hammers, ready to go up against you.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, it's just she just like has like her pinky finger wrapped around it. Just, boom! Thing fucking explodes.
But yeah, we're wrapping up, people.
Yee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Me don't have nothing.
Don't jump the gun. I know you like guns, but don't jump it.
Zoe.
okay, but does anybody have any? Although before we do that, Ash, you have the art.
Yes, let's go ahead and give that a show.
So-
Show to players.
Over the last few weeks, I've been doing an art trade with a friend of mine to get this Strawn of Morrigan.
Uh.
And said friend is open for commissions, but I will open the floor to others to go first before I promote my friend.
I got nothing.
No.
I have nothing at this moment, but perhaps next week when things happen.
Fair enough.
I have one.
Okay, go first.
Actually, I have two. So first is my friend Will, known as Will Is Your Thrill on Twitter. He makes amazing art. I love his art so much. He is open for commissions. He's very wonderful to work with. I cannot recommend him enough. And second, actually, is I gotta go switch get the other link. Is another friend of mine. He is working currently on some supplements, and he's posted his stuff to DM's Guild. His homebrew is really good. He's a very fun DM, and I just openly recommend him. Like, go look at his stuff, and that is his Twitter. So yeah, then That is Will is your at Will is your thrill on Twitter, and then at Lake Druid on Twitter.
Yee. Okay, and then for me, the promotion I have, the friend of mine who did this lovely illustration of Morgan with the pet rats that I actually write her having in my own, writing on the side for fun modern setting stuff. And they are in order
Spud.
from They are in order from Who's in the Hood going down, kiwi, avocado, and pumpkin. Yes, all 3 girls have names. But the artists in question, and they are open for commissions, and if you would like to commission them, they are at K Murphy Illustration on Instagram. And that is KAE Murphy Illustration on Instagram. And although if you would rather minifig paintings, they have a minifig Instagram as well. And for that one, they are Guileless_Goblincore. Both on Instagram.
Strong name.
Yee. But I have been excited and wanting to promote my friend for a while, and I did not want to have the art shown publicly until I made sure they got the plushies that I made for them in payment and exchange for this gorgeous piece that I actually have the physical of, and I'm just so happy!
Yeah. I'm glad. It's good art.
Yee.
You get another piece of character commission, given the recent body changes.
Well, I mean, if you like Kay's style, I would definitely recommend commissioning them. So I'm just excited, and I think whenever we have an art friend who we want to see get good work for their amazing talent, we just want to promote them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It now has a tail. There's a butt extension.
It's more of a spine extension, but fair enough.
Okay.
You don't extend your butt with a tail.
Alright.
That would be really weird.
Alright, so with all of that, do we have all of our promotion shout-outs and promos done?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then our usual endings feel. If you enjoyed this and you would like to find out what happens next, you can join us most Saturdays at or around 8 p.m. EST for the next session of the Scattered Realms. And if you do like our crew and our energy and you want something a little more modern fantasy, we're working out some kinks in it just behind the scenes of player schedule stuff, but Project Ada is still a thing on this channel, and that's going to be when we can do it on Thursdays at or around 7 p.m. EST.
Yeah.
It's just right now, schedules are wibbly wobbly. We're working on it. Don't worry, we're working on it. It's just we all know getting a D&D game together consistently with people in various different schedules, kind of hard.
The fact that we're making this one work is astonishing.
Yes. I think we stacked the deck in our favor by going on Saturdays.
We have someone on the other side of the planet.
Magic.
Yep.
Yes. But we do it this way because that is that person's their day off. Makes it easier.
Yeah. Felzy is my Australian. We have him.
Magic.
So, all that said then, and just to recap that real fast, Project Ada's on Thursdays. We're wibbly wobbly on that right now. at or around 7 p.m. EST. And then if you want more Scattered Realms, the same channel, most Saturdays at or around 8 p.m. EST. And we should be playing next week, so we can find out what happens next. We'll just have to see how schedules, work for that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes.
Alright, so, everybody want to say goodnight?
Yeah.
Sleep well until the toll of your death comes. Punch.
Alrighty. Good night, everybody. We'll see y'all when we see you next.
Yeah.